Hey guys, I normally do a countdown right now, but for some reason the countdown didn't start. Well, whatever. I am indeed live, I think, on the YouTubes, on the Rockfins, on the Odyssey. Sorry, I didn't have that countdown. I don't know what the heck happened. I clicked on it and it didn't go live. But we're live anyway. Welcome to Happy Hour. This is a little show that I do every Friday night. Now at 5 p.m. It used to be at 3 p.m., but now it is at 5 p.m. And for some reason I hear myself echoing right now and I'm trying to figure out where that's coming from. Oh, found it. Okay. It's just all going off the rails. It's all going off the rails already. Excellent. This is great. Well, guys, we have a fun-filled happy hour in store for us today. This is the first happy hour that I've ever done exclusively on Actively Unwoke, which is my second YouTube channel that I'm going to be adding a lot more content in the coming days and weeks and months about fighting back against the woke nemesis in your life. We're also going to be doing happy hour here exclusively from now on. I used to do it on my main channel, but now I'm moving it over here. We're putting some more structure around things. I am also on Odyssey. I am also on Rockfin. I think I may even be on Facebook. Not quite sure. Nope, not Facebook this time, but definitely Odyssey and Rockfin. Jess T says I'm vibrating. I don't know about that, Jess T, but okay. I'm going to take that as maybe a compliment. I don't even know. Well, this is going to be an interesting edition of Happy Hour for a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm not feeling so great. I'm just going to let you guys know that up front. Not feeling great. Have a cold. It's Victor's fault. It's not COVID. I know exactly what I have. Victor got it and then I got it, and so I'm not feeling so great today, but I'm going to power through cuz it's happy hour. And that's just the way it's going to be. But I do want to let you guys know I am feeling a little bit under the weather, and I'm going to try to do the very best I can. I'm going to go as long as my voice holds out, and we're just going to see how it goes. But happy hour is a stream that I do where we watch a woke training or video of some sort, and I drink some beers, and I'm still going to drink a beer or two today. I am. And we make fun of it. And today we have potentially what could be an amazing little thing to watch. We're going to watch the 2019 Democratic Socialist Convention. Now, here's the thing. I never watched this before. I've heard about this. I keep hearing about this as like the ultra woke convention, but I don't know exactly what I'm going to watch. So I have two different kind of like hour plus videos that we can watch from this convention. I'm having a sneaking suspicion that this day 2 one might actually be the best one to watch. But I have two different videos available, and this is just supposed to be like the wokest of the woke thing that has ever happened before. So one of the things that I'm really interested in and how I differentiate myself from someone like James Lindsay is really interested in the theory and the literature and the foundational stuff that's behind critical race theory and woke nonsense and social justice and all of this stuff. And he is amazing at it. I tend to prefer things that are a little bit more practical, in that I like to look at things in how they manifest in the real world. I like to look at how things manifest in terms of real world experiences in the work environment, at political conventions, in colleges, what actually happens to real live human beings when critical theory and social justice is applied in the wild. So that's what I'm hoping we're going to see today in the Democratic Socialist Convention from 2019. We're going to see critical race theory and the woke and social justice applied in a real world setting. So that's what we're going to watch today. If you guys have opinions about whether or not we should watch this video, A World to Win, Funding the Socialist Future, or this video, which is I think that this video, I might almost make an executive decision and say we're going to watch this video, because I feel like this is more like admin and crazy town stuff that could just be really fun to watch. But the thing of it is too is we can switch back and forth. This is happy hour. We can keep it informal. We can live our best life. We can do whatever we want to do. But if you have an opinion about which one we should watch, if you've maybe seen one of these before, let me know in the chat which way you would go. Now, we've got a couple of orders of business before we get started. Number one, If you want to download your Unwoke bingo card, today might be a really good day for it. Who knows? Just go ahead and follow the link that it is in the description below. It's in the description on YouTube, Rockfin, and Odyssey, so all of you should have access to it. And then just hit generate card. All the cards are different. You get your one square in the middle, and then we're going for lines or we're going for corners. I have a feeling capitalism might be mentioned today. Not in a positive sense. Just saying. Once we get a bingo, go ahead and yell it out in the chat. You'll all get a big congratulations. You don't win anything, but it keeps us focused, keeps us listening in, all that good stuff. Once we get a single bingo, we are then going for blackout bingo. Maybe today's the day it'll happen. Who knows? But that's order of business number 1. Order of business number 2 is if you like the work I'm doing and you want to support it and keep me independent and keep me doing this fun stuff with you guys, please make sure you become a member of my Locals community. Locals is the best place on the internet. It is the only troll-free place on the internet. I have the greatest community in all of Locals. And when you support me in Locals, not only are you going to get to connect with the best community in history of communities, you're also going to get some exclusive perks. You're going to get exclusive perks like 2 Zoom calls every single week. We do them on Mondays and Wednesdays in 2022. What we do on those Zoom calls is we get together and we talk about what's going on in the world, what's going on in our lives. It's a little bit of an open forum, a little bit of a support group, not recorded, not published anywhere. You can say whatever you want to say. You will never be you might be judged, but we'll still consider you a friend at the end of the day. You don't have to agree with everyone in the group. Like not it is not a monolith by any stretch of the imagination, but we have civil dialogue and discourse, and it's just really good people that just want to connect with other like-minded people like them. So that's one of the benefits you're going to get in my Locals. You're also going to get things like what we're doing tomorrow, which is bitchcraft, which is basically craft and bitch, stitch and bitch. It's when people come and bring their crafts or their projects or even their laundry if they want to fold some laundry. And we come together, we get on a Zoom and we just chit chat while we're doing our crafting or knitting or whatever you want to do. We are doing our first bitch craft of the year tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time. This is a local supporter exclusive. So if you want to get in on bitchcraft and come craft with us and come to a place where you won't be canceled if you don't share your pronouns or any of those things, that can be something that you can do. Yeah, meta step. You can trim your cannabis, dude. Do it to it. Do it to it. Patrice is going to be sewing. I'm going to be knitting. I bet you Judy's going to be knitting. I bet you Sin is going to be doing her crochet. We have all sorts of crafts going on in Locals. Some people draw, some people paint, some people quilt. It's amazing. It's really, again, it's like the best place on the internet. It's the only place where there's no fighting. So come and join us tomorrow at 3 p.m. for Bitchcraft. I will still be doing it no matter if I'm on my deathbed. I'm still going to be there. All right, the last thing we need to do is I need to get a beer. I do, because it's happy hour. So what if I'm not feeling well? It's just the way it goes. So today, I'm going to be drinking a little bit of a boring beer, but it's one that I really like. I'm drinking a Sam Adams Boston Lager. I really like Sam Adams Boston Lager. I think it is a good quality beer, and I'm going to pour it in my Sam Adams beer glass. And so these glasses are, just so like you guys know, like these glasses are special glasses because the bottom part is actually thicker than the top part. So when we pour the beer in, hang on, we'll do a little demonstration. Sometimes special beers have special glasses. This glass was specifically designed by the owner of Sam Adams. And it's just it's fun to know the stories behind this stuff. So we pour our beer in. And then when you're using this glass, you want to hold it by the bottom because the glass is thicker on the bottom and that keeps the beer from getting warm. So if you hold it by the bottom rather than by the top, your beer is going to stay colder longer in the glass. And then it's specially designed so there's like aroma coming up. I really like Sam Adams beer, man. I know they're corporate. I know they're everywhere, but it's like a good solid beer that you can get pretty much anywhere. And I think it still tastes good. They still do a good job, even though they're just slightly woke. But that's okay. That's all right. All right, let's get started with our video. Again, I'm feeling this day 2. I have a good feeling about day 2, so we might watch that. Let me just get this set up. And we'll start with that. And if we want to watch the other one, we can. Chrome tab, share audio. All right, who's ready to get started with Democratic Socialist Convention and watch the woke magic in the wild? Let's see what happens when we actually put social justice into place in a real world setting. Who's ready to go? Chat in that you're ready. Let me know. Let's see. Got some folks watching on Odyssey. Got some folks watching on Rockfin. Awesome. Ready, Freddy. Let's get it done, folks. Starting now.
Front, so it looks nice and crowded with lots of solidarity.
Crowded with solidarity.
So, we are back to debating more motions and more proposals. Who's excited for some comradely debate amongst comrades?
Comradely
Awesome.
Debate.
Okay.
Excellent. I'm ready for comradely debate.
I put together a few slides. Lawrence, if I could I get the slides? Oh, sorry. Okay. Who is familiar with this meme? Yes? Okay. Always be comradely. Okay, can I get the next one? Okay, so respect. We all agreed to show our comrades respect, and what that means is that we're using ASL applause.
ASL
That we're not
applause.
booing or hissing, and that we're not waving signs so that people can stay focused.
They're not allowed to clap.
Don't have lots of distractions. It also means that we another one of our community agreements is move up.
Patrice
move
says
back.
it's quiet, so let me.
We will be using progressive stack today.
Okay, guys. So Patrice says that it's pretty quiet. I have it as loud as it can go on their end, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn my volume down, and that way you can turn your volume up, and it'll be as loud as it can be. Okay? So I'm turning my personal volume down, and then you can turn your own volume up so you can hear it a little bit better. And that's just going to have to do because you can see, like, the volume is as high as it's going to go. Okay? I'm sorry. It is what it is. I'm trying. Let me know if this is better.
Great. Okay, so please think before making a procedural motion. Please, just think for a moment. Is it worth it to debate this procedural motion? Could you go to the next slide? Okay, so finally, we know that this is stressful. Democracy is hard. It requires discipline. Please do take care of yourself. We will not have a good debate if we're all like hangry or tired. There is, I think there's a picket line
Better?
today.
Is that better?
Walking and yelling at capitalists is a great way to get out your anxiety.
Capitalism.
So if you do
walking
go
and
that,
yelling at did you hear what she just said?
I encourage you to hand over your.
Walking and yelling at capitalists is a great way to manage your anxiety. So if you have that capitalism square on bingo, you already got one.
Your voting card to someone who you trust. Is there someone who'd like to motivate that?
Hello, hi. Aram Falsafi, Seattle DSA, he, him. I'm one of the co-authors of this, and so I'll jump right into it. Basically, Bernie always says, not me, us. So let's show him that the we, the us, demands an anti-empire, anti-war foreign policy, an area where he's been better than everybody else, but could use some improvement, definitely. So imagine an online petition under the DSA logo, which is endorsed by your local anti-war group, your local Palestine Solidarity group, your local Central America
local Palestine Solidarity
Human
group.
Rights group, and collecting hopefully a few 100,000 signatures,
Jew.
right? And
he is a
this
Jew.
from DSA and non-DSA members.
Hi, I'm Trey from Memphis Mid-South DSA. They, them pronouns, please. Oh, I'm sorry. So I rise today to speak in favor of this resolution to strike a blow against the chauvinism that invades our politics. We cannot continue to criticize and engage in imperialism against these countries. We need to respect the sovereignty of Cuba. We need to stand in solidarity with Palestine. We need.
What are your
to
pronouns?
recognize
Put your
that these
pronouns in the chat, please.
Apparently,
we're going to need them today.
Matter just as much as we do, and we need to free them from Western imperialism. The United States has always been an agent of propping up right-wing dictatorships and and engaging in violence against these communities, and it's time to call on a major presidential candidate to take an anti-imperialist stance. Thank you.
Tom from Milwaukee DSA, he or they pronouns. I'm sorry, and if there is no, well, it looks like there may be further debate, but
Point of order.
Oh,
Yep.
this is edited together.
I need to consider this resolution.
I think
by
that's okay.
paragraph so that we vote on each bullet point individually. because of
Hold on.
excuse me.
So, like 3 minutes ago, the lady at the microphone was like, please think about it before you bring any procedural motions. And now this guy's like, let's vote on every single sentence in this motion. I like that this is edited together. It makes me think we're only going to see the good parts. So it seems to be working out well.
Sorry, because of the comrade's objection to the ICC, it would be a to the language including the ICC.
Okay. After consulting with the parliamentarian, the request to divide the question into paragraphs is not in order. To motivate.
Wait, point of order. I just want to point out that that last debate did not use progressive stack.
Okay, thank you for.
What's
thank you for
progressive
that. We
stack?
will Try.
Does anyone know what progressive
better,
stack is?
more. Next. Okay. Right on
Quick point of
time.
privilege. Quick point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to say, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum? I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus. Please, can we just, I know we're all fresh and ready to go, but can you please just keep the chatter to a minimum? It's affecting my ability to focus. Thank you.
Thank you, comrade. Okay, is there a speaker against? Name,
What the
chapter,
fuck is
pronoun?
progressive
Point of
stack?
personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Okay. All right, thanks for whoever started clapping and then switched over to ASL applause. Thank you. Let's keep. Let's
No
try to use this
clapping.
as much as possible.
No clapping
Yes, there is.
allowed.
I'm Daniel Ray. I'm from Piedmont, NC. My pronouns are he, him. I'd just like to speak out in opposition of this this resolution because I believe that committing so many resources to electoral politics in the time frame that we have, which is about a decade, considering fascist uprisings and climate change, and with the amount of chances that we have for an electoral victory, which is basically Bernie Sanders, it would be actively dangerous to start to commit further than that, in my opinion. I am white, but I am a second-generation immigrant. My mom is a Muslim. She's
Ooh,
from Azerbaijan.
intersectionality.
My grandmother is from Kazakhstan. We were on the chopping block from the Nazis when they invaded the
See, what he's doing right now is he's a white man, and so he basically has no. He doesn't have enough virtue points. Okay. And so he has to, like, being a white man is not acceptable. So now he has to add intersectionality virtue points, which I'm assuming is what they mean by progressive stack. Does anyone know? Like, I'm assuming progressive stack is like the unspoken woke hierarchy, which has like trans people at the very top, and then black people with dark skin, and then black people with lighter skin, and then usually Native Americans, and then usually Latino, which they call Latinx, which no one really likes that term, and then usually Asians, and then usually Jews, and then usually white people way down at the bottom. Asians can kind of go up or down depending. But I'm assuming that that's what they mean when they say progressive stack is the woke hierarchy.
Soviet Union, and we are on the chopping block now. And the time frame that we have available, it is not conducive of being able to continue the electoral struggle this long that it would require to build a national party, whether it's inside the Democratic Party or not.
Point of information.
Yes, on point.
This is Chance, he, him, at large, Texas. The previous speaker mentioned building an independent party or building an immediate independent party. Is that what this resolution calls for?
No.
Thank you.
I can't answer that, but perhaps someone can who's going to speak at some point. Right. Thank you. So I do want to note that the past 3 speakers have been men on different resolutions. So let's keep that in mind.
Motion to suspend the rules for an amendment that would make a difference for my campaign seeking endorsement.
About
Point of privilege.
Hold on. About Resolution 48, candidate litmus test resolution. If folks could wait until I am done saying a word, that would be awesome, please. So what is your point of order? Privilege.
So since we did just take a vote, I would just like to again ask the people who are standing to maybe kneel or sit.
Yep. So thank you. I would like to note that the past three people have been men. So negotiate amongst yourselves. And
if you
is
feel
there a
that's
speaker
right, you can
Can I make a
you can
point of
keep
privilege,
going.
please?
Point of
But if you
inquiry,
don't,
sorry.
you can negotiate amongst
I
yourselves.
heard the point of privilege before the point of inquiry, so we're going to go first here and then there. Okay.
I just want to say to Madam Chair that two comrades, both a person of color and a woman, was talking, and people were having discussion while they were talking. It's completely disrespectful. And a lot of our folks with disabilities have asked multiple times the last 2 days, for folks to contain their conversations to ensure that folks are able to accurately get the information from our other comrades to make democracy work here. So please, 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 please keep our voices silent so that our comrades can talk and our comrades can understand what we are trying to push forth in this convention.
Great, thank you.
Did you hear how angsty she was when she said that? She was so mad. Like, this is like a little group of authoritarians that just want to control everyone else and will use any excuse that they can come up with to control everyone else. Like, people here have disabilities. How dare you whisper to each other during this meeting? This is great. I'm so glad we started off with this one. We can always move back to the other one. The other one is actually a stream that they did. So it just shows it all the way through, but this seems to be edited, so it only has like the crazy parts. But yeah, guys, if you need some more beer, now's the time. Now's the time. Silence is inclusion in the land of the socialist.
Hello again, everyone, for, I don't know, the third or fourth time. I am still Rachel. I am still she, they. I am still from here. I want to speak as an organizer in the South, where it is very different. We are up against people who are so gerrymandered, who are so disenfranchised that it takes Herculean efforts to win a single election, let alone win the many elections we need to even have a chance of solving our problems here.
They're so
And
angsty,
when I
all
see
of
that
them.
number one, are you a democratic socialist? What I see is forcing our candidates into a death sentence because we have people who don't understand what socialism is here yet. Now I understand.
What
if
is
you're in
socialism?
Portland, if you're in New York, if you are in a solidly blue area, yes, absolutely demand that they call themselves a democratic socialist. But if you are in the South, you owe us better than that. Do not do this to us.
Oh, so are they saying that in order to run for public office, you have to call yourself a democratic socialist? That actually seems kind of reasonable to me, man. You're in the Democratic Socialist Party of America. Like, if I were to run for office, I would call myself a libertarian, even though that would make it, I mean, maybe not as hard in New Hampshire as like some other places, but it would still make it difficult because we don't have ballot access. So they're arguing like, don't make us call ourselves a Democratic Socialist if we're running for office. I don't know. Like, you are what you are. If you cannot defend your ideas, then why are you running for office in the first place? That just makes no sense. Just T reminds everyone to mount that like button. Thank you, Just T, for that. And guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, this is my second channel. Please make sure you're subscribed.
Thank you. Is there a speaker against the
point of
amendment?
personal privilege?
Yes.
While I appreciate there are a lot of comrades wanting to speak on this, I am very concerned about like the number of people crowding the aisles, both from safety and also from the visibility of some of the comrades who are sitting close to there. If I could ask, after taking progressive stack into consideration, for anybody more than like 5 or 6 people in to please take a seat.
So now they're taking progressive stack, which is the woke hierarchy. I had no idea this had a name. So they're taking the woke hierarchy into consideration with who gets to speak. So essentially what they're saying is like they have to take progressive stack into consideration for who gets to speak. And so lining people up based on their identities, essentially, based on intersectionality and how oppressed they are. The more oppressed, the more chance you are going to have to speak, which means they're never going to hear from any white men ever unless those white men have other compounding intersectional characteristics.
Okay. Okay, and again, we're going to try and watch for progressive stacks so that we can get a mix of folks, including more women, to speak. So take you over here, but keep that in mind.
Hi, my name is Adam Leeds, New York City, he, him. So I'm a professor of Soviet history. I wake up in the morning into a pile
Wow.
of books. I read Marx for a living and teach it. You might expect that I have some opinions
I
about
teach
socialism,
Marx
about political
for a
education.
living.
And I do, and yet I'm speaking against this resolution. There's about 1,100 other socialists in this room. I imagine some of you might have opinions about socialism.
Hi, Erin, she, they, New York City. Just to kind of respond to the comrade who just spoke, it seems to me that that assumes that the implementation of this would be poorly implemented, that whoever would do it for nefarious reasons. And I'm speaking
Spirit
for this amendment
fingers.
because the vast majority of us in this room were raised under capitalism and conditioned under that, and we need to unlearn that. And I'm still unlearning things. The first time someone said to me, abolish private property, I said, you're an idiot. And I was already a DSA member. And then I thought about it, and then I read about it, and then I read Marx, and I thought about it some more. And I was like, yes, we need to abolish private property. But raising class consciousness is a process. It involves organizing, but it also involves
This is who is teaching your children. If your children are in public schools, they are being taught by these people. That is not an exaggeration. This is when they're in, guys, do you understand? This is when they're in their safe space. This is when they can really let their freak flags fly. This is when they can say the things that they always want to say. When they're in the real world, they can't say these things. Because if she goes into a room and says, abolish private property, people are going to be like, no. So they can only say these things when they're in this little safe space with other socialists. So we're hearing what they really think now. They don't want you to be able to make your own money. They don't want you to own anything. These are the people that are currently running the United States government. It's all fun and games back in 2019 until these are the people that end up running the government.
education, and it has to be intentional education because we do need to unlearn capitalism. And then I also want to, I wish I had made an amendment, but I just also want to implore that political education also includes reading authors of color, reading Black people, reading women, and not having a night school that is if you have a night school that's a year long, you shouldn't have one day dedicated to feminism. You should have every day dedicated to feminism. And you shouldn't have one day dedicated to the civil rights movement and Black people. Every day should be dedicated to that because that's what it means to create a multi-tendency, multiracial feminist organization. So I really encourage you all to vote for this resolution so that we can build a class-conscious movement for socialism.
Thank you. Speaker against.
Can I make a motion to suspend the rules and add that amendment to this resolution?
The chair didn't hear an amendment, just a speaker in favor.
I'll make an amendment.
Okay, so do we want to suspend the rules?
For that particular
For
amendment
this
that the comrade
particular amendment?
Or if the authors want to take it as friendly, I don't know if that's allowed.
Point of information.
We're in the middle of a vote, so hold that thought.
It was tough getting over here.
The motion is to suspend the rules. Please don't call out. That's not helpful. The motion is to suspend the rules to allow for an amendment based on the previous speaker's comments.
And what would the amendment language be?
The amendment language is not at debate right now. What is on the floor is the motion to suspend the rules. Suspend the rules requires 2/3. It's not debatable, even though we seem to be having debate.
Hello, Jen, she, her, New York City. So I'm incredibly disappointed that the amendment failed because I agree that we desperately need to facilitate the political development of our members. And so I'm part of the New York City SocFem working group. We have one of the best political education
working group
programs in the city, I must say.
SocFem.
And our approach is all about like helping our members develop their own ideas, engaging in discussion, empowering people to create their own syllabuses.
Comrade Chair,
Yes.
Mike, they, them, Pittsburgh. I move the previous question on the main motion.
Thank you. The question on the main motion has been moved and seconded. If we vote for this, again, we're closing debate and we'll go immediately to a vote on Resolution 33.
Thank you. A quick point of privilege once again. Hi, James Jackson, Sacramento DSA.
So I just want to point out, we are 15 minutes into an hour and 19-minute video that was edited together from what was probably a significantly longer discussion. I just want to put this in perspective. This is an hour and 19-minute video of woke nonsense that was probably edited down from several hours of woke nonsense. They literally spent all day doing this shit. This is the woke in action. This is why woke doesn't work in organizations. It's why it doesn't work in schools. It's why it doesn't work anywhere in the real world. Because it takes all day for them to do this. We're only 15 minutes into this. I feel like I've been on a roller coaster. I have no idea what's going on.
I have already asked people to be mindful of the chatter of their comrades who are sensitive
this
to
guy's
sensory
back.
overload.
He's
and
getting
that goes
pissed.
double for the heckling and the hissing. It is also triggering to my anxiety. Like, so be comradely isn't just for like, let's keep things civil or whatever. It's so that people aren't going to get triggered and so that it doesn't affect their performance as a delegate, okay? Your need to express yourself is important, but your need to express yourself should not trump or it doesn't matter. Your need to express yourself is not more important than other delegates' ability to perform.
It actually is. It actually is.
One quick announcement from the security
He definitely
team.
forgot his meds,
The
Deborah.
rumors of our opposition have been, as often is the case, greatly overestimated. You are many. They are few. There are about 5 people with Trump signs out there. Humiliate them as they stand alone out there and do not give them the thing they came out here to get.
I'd like to bring forward a motion to reconsider the consent agenda and remove Resolution 53 in order to hear, so we all can hear concerns from a Black comrade and a former sex worker about some of the language and make an amendment.
Oh.
We'd like to be able to read a
Well.
statement before everyone is able to vote.
I want to hear this statement from the black
there
sex
has been
worker.
a motion to reconsider
Oh, man.
Resolution 53, pro-criminalization of sex work, that was adopted in the consent agenda. Is there a second for the motion, please?
Point of
Again,
order.
no hissing. This is comradely debate.
Comradely debate.
My name is JJ, pronouns she, her, out of DS Honolulu, and I'm going
Thank
to
you, Catherine, for the
share
super sticker. I
a
appreciate
statement
it.
based off of my experience in the sex trade. I remember when I first considered sex work. A lot of the white girls I knew had sugar daddies, and me, not being fully aware to how to navigate this world as a Black feminized body, thought that I could be like them. I remember hearing all the dates they went on and the expensive things their daddies bought them. I remember deciding to give it a shot because I was pretty and young and could use the extra cash. I met with an older straight white man, the demographic of sugar daddies in Dallas, through a supposedly secure site with verified members. Super safe, right? We went on a few dates and he paid for dinners and shows. I remember feeling safe enough to go back to his place. I remember stripping and preparing to sell my body to him, then realizing that I didn't actually want to do this. I remember the moment he slapped
So
me
you
so
weren't
hard
a
that my
sex
face
worker.
burned and my eyes filled with tears. I was extremely caught off guard. I remember him choking me, and as he asked me if I wanted to play slave to his slave master. I remember agreeing because my breathing was restricted and I was terrified that he would hit me again. He did. I remember him slapping me again and forcing me to tell him that I liked it. I remember he dropped me off with an envelope of $200 in cash. That was how much the dehumanization of my Black feminized body cost in 2014. I remember crying in the shower, blocking his number, and never logging back onto that website. It may have been my choice to meet him, but I didn't choose to experience racialized sexual violence and dehumanization. What the colonized need isn't a choice handed by colonizers, but the dismantling of this system of commodifying human bodies. Thank you.
It doesn't seem to be like a very socialist position.
Parliamentary inquiry.
Did the comrade who made that motion vote yes on the consent agenda?
My understanding is yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I have another parliamentary inquiry.
Okay.
Is this motion debatable?
Yes.
Okay. So I'd like to speak against this.
Okay, and so to be clear, you would be speaking against the motion to reconsider. Go ahead.
Yep, that's correct. Everything was on the consent agenda because it was overwhelmingly popular. We're crunched for time. All of these motions are overwhelmingly popular, or all the resolutions are, and we shouldn't revisit them. Thanks.
We've now had a speaker for and a speaker against. Is there another
Point of
speaker?
information.
Hold on, please don't interrupt me.
Sorry about that.
Is there a point of information?
I believe that we voted yesterday to suspend the rules to adopt the consent agenda in full and not allow things to be taken off the consent agenda. Isn't that what we voted on yesterday?
Once we suspended the rules only for time certain to make that decision. Afterwards, the rules go back into effect.
Marina, the Austin chapter, she, her pronouns. I'm a little bit uncomfortable with the manner in which we're proceeding here because we just had a comrade come and share trauma and violence with us. And I think that, I mean, like, that's really triggering for a lot of folks. And talking about procedural shit is kind of fucked up. I feel like we at least owe it to this person and to the complexity of this issue, perhaps to be willing to take a step back and check the privileges that we have had if we haven't had any intimacy with this industry. I mean, a lot of us voted with.
If someone shares a sad story, then we all need to change our positions, or we're being insensitive to that person's sad story. Listen, I have sympathy for that person. I do. But you're a fucking socialist. I'm sorry. If you think you're going to get the socialists to like ban sex work or go against sex work, that just doesn't seem very realistic to me. And now this person's coming up being like, she told this sad story, feelings, we should all just check our privilege. I mean, listen, man, I don't really care about sex work at all. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't particularly care what people do with their bodies. I think it should be their business. But the very idea of like someone told a sad story and because of that sad story, we should reconsider our entire political position on something. We should throw all our principles kind of out the window because bad things have happened. I'm sorry, man. That's life. Bad things happen in the real world.
Without any perspective. I mean, I generally want to be in solidarity with sex workers, and so like, I was like, hell yeah, like pro decriminalization. And so if there's another perspective, I think we should at least hear it. I wasn't recognizing that maybe there could be some, some more nuance to it. And I think that we at least owe our comrade that much. And that's all I have to say.
Hi, my name is Alexandra Walling. I'm from New York City, DSA. I am a former sex worker. I entered the sex trade at the age of 18 because my minimum wage job was not enough for me to afford rent at the time and get out of my abusive living situation. I have been asked by the Red Canary Collective, a collective of migrant, mostly Asian American sex workers in Flushing, Queens, to read.
The Red Canary Collective? They call Asian migrant workers who perform sex work the Red Canary Collective. That seems a little bit racist to me. I wonder what is what do you guys think the propensity of people involved with the Democratic Socialists of America to have mental health issues? What is the correlation between mental health issues? And again, I'm not judging. There's nothing wrong with having mental health issues. I don't think that should have a stigma around it at all. I'm just questioning what is the propensity of actual diagnosable mental health issues and being affiliated with the Democratic Socialists of America.
Read aloud from a statement they have put out calling on this convention to vote in favor of Resolution 53. From Thai and Cambodian garment workers who turn to the sex industry because of the exploitative conditions of garment factories, to the nail salon workers and restaurant workers in Flushing, Queens, who turn to massage parlor work because of the low-paid and bodily extractive labor of nail salons and restaurants. Most people who choose to work in the sex industry are doing so in order to escape more punitive, low-paid work that may have stricter schedules prohibitive to people with disabilities, mothers, mothers and students, and many people who are primary caretakers
Wait,
for
wait,
their
wait, wait,
families.
wait, 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 wait,
Yet these
wait, wait, wait,
rescue
wait, wait,
raids,
wait, 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 wait. Is she saying that people participate in sex work because they're disabled? How many disabled sex workers are there? That's what she just said. Is like people resort to sex work when they're disabled and they can't find other work that's conducive to, how they want to live. Is she arguing that people who participate in sex work are primarily disabled?
which target the
Is
most
that true?
vulnerable
I don't
of
know.
sex workers, often force them back into garment factories and other low-paid work as a way to rehabilitate workers into serving global capital. No one should be forced to do this work against their will. Any kind of non-consensual sex work is not work, but slavery. We need to distinguish between the two while also fighting against the real legacy of chattel slavery in the United States, which is mass incarceration. Sex workers are the best partners for fighting trafficking and supporting sex work decriminalization is also part of the broader movement towards prison abolition, which this body voted to endorse in 2017. Uphold Resolution 53. Thank you.
Call the question.
What?
Point of privilege. I do not believe that someone identifying as a man should be the one to call the question, since this is work that primarily affects female identifying non-men folks. Thank you.
Okay. Can I do a point of privilege?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I totally respect the courage the comrade had when they spoke about the trauma. I would like to ask people to please use trigger warnings.
Thank you. I would ask the same.
Hi, my name is Erica. I use they, them pronouns. I'm from Lincoln, Nebraska.
My name is Christian Hernandez. I'm an NPC candidate from DSA North Texas. I come into DSA as an immigrant rights organizer, so I was able to bring that experience and that training to my chapter specifically. So I've not only benefited from these national trainings, but I've helped develop these and think it's important we have trainings that aren't just white men. Like it may be in chapters that may be less geographically and demographically diverse. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Cassandra, she, her from Metro DC. People are really crowding the aisles. It'd be really nice if we could limit it to like 6 people for and 6 people against, actually standing up so that we can actually see what's going on in the room.
Thank you, comrade.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Yessie. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm part of the San Diego chapter.
Comrade?
Point of privilege. I also ask that the safety considerations that were mentioned earlier by the comrade of having the aisles filled with people be respected. Crouching down does nothing to alleviate those safety considerations. So let's please respect, the issues that were raised earlier.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Curtis with Miami DSA, he, him, his. A little bit about my background. So I developed training for 4
Curtis,
years
they
in
don't care.
organizing
You're a
revolutionary
man.
defenders.
They don't
I have
care.
a role right now with our national CWA.
They don't care.
Political training. And y'all, this shit's hard.
Point of personal privilege. Drew Marie, they, them, theirs, Metro DC. Can we please use comrade as an honorific and not sir or ma'am to some in
Gendered language.
Absolutely,
It's
I
gendered
apologize.
language.
Thank you.
It's gendered language. They don't want to use sir or ma'am because it's gendered language. Comrade is non-gendered language. I am going to say this though. I actually, take this. This might be a little controversial. I don't mind the whole spirit fingers thing. I actually think it's kind of nice not to have everyone interrupted with applause all the time. So I kind of think it's nice that if you agree with something, you just put your hands in the air silently and wave them about. I don't know. I understand the arguments against it and that clapping is like a normal thing that people should be able to deal with, but it's kind of nice to not have to interrupt every single speaker with applause, especially when every single speaker is saying things that are batshit insane.
Hi, everyone. Mikiko James from Los Angeles, she, her pronouns. As a member of the NPC slate with Socialist Majority, I believe in the critical work that centers socialist feminism and Afro-socialism and racial equity. And the training programs thus far have really centered this work in a critical way for me in my personal political development. And so I strongly encourage everyone to help us continue this really important nationally based work that brings us together in unity.
We're going to watch the
and
other
helps to
video today,
understand
too.
how
I
we
just
can-
decided.
We are going to carry DSA forward for the rest of the win. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Bianca Cunningham, NYCDSA, Afro-Socialist Caucus, she, they pronouns. I'm speaking as somebody who has been a part of the training and development team since the revitalization of DSA. 130 socialists of color and Black socialists from around the country came together in New Orleans as a result of
Like
this
Black
training program that we're
socialists!
trying to
Black
just, keep
socialists!
intact. It was incredibly
Look how white.
effective.
Hang
It was
on.
incredibly productive. That
Look how white that room is. That room has a lot of white people. That room has a lot of white people. Like, all it took to get half of the room. I also like it because it allows us to identify, like, when people are happy, but like it allows us to identify the virtue signals essentially. So anytime they're going like this, they're like Black socialist. Ooh! It's like identifying the virtue signals.
That weekend, and I don't trust that these types of things are a priority when I look at resolutions like what the gentleman was just talking about. I want to make sure that oppressed people are always, their voices are heard in trainings, that we're centering their experiences, and in order to do that, we need to have a line. Part of the problem right now in this organization is that we don't have a line on race. We don't have a line on these things, and so we make ourselves easy targets for our opponent.
Park. I see another comrade at the points mic.
Point of personal privilege again, same one as before. Could we please keep the number of people at the mics to 6 to keep the aisles clear? Thank you.
Okay, we've had, I believe, a speaker for and now a speaker against.
Hi, I'm Covey. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm from Pittsburgh. I think this resolution doesn't take into account local need. I think it's really urban-centric.
I see a comrade. I'm going to refer to you as comrade calls the question.
Fantastic. Can I call the question?
Yes, you may, sir. Oh, excuse me, comrade.
Gendered language. Gendered language.
Point of, I don't know if this is parliamentary inquiry or personal privilege. A point of order. Can you tell me
Every
what
time they
was
say gendered language,
what
drink.
were the counts when you did when you counted for ending debate? What was the count?
It's a 2/3, and
No.
it's a ending debate requires 2/3 majority.
Did you see 2/3 of the?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Okay, can I go?
Yes, you may.
Hi, comrades. Nat Steele, she, her, or they, them, from Metro DC, DSA, and I'm a member of the Collective Power Network. What's up, y'all? I want to talk a little bit about my experience as an organizer of color, as an organizer who stands at the intersection of multiple marginalized identities in this organization. We hear a lot about how DSA is too white, too male, too upper middle class,
It
too
does
college
indeed, Nick
educated.
H.
In
It
short,
does indeed.
how
Thank
we
you
do
for the
not
super chat.
represent the diversity of the real and existing working class. I think these things are very true. I notice it all the time. However, what I hear less of, and what I would like to hear more of, is solutions, right? We can't just talk about the problems. We have to do something about them. So what this resolution does, and I will talk about it very briefly, it creates a committee called the National Growth and Development Committee. That committee has as its goal to bring DSA to 100,000 members by 2021, recruiting prioritized for marginalized identities, and doing leadership development, active and proactive leadership development
sounds so
from comrades
angry.
of those marginalized identities. We can't just organize in solidarity with a working class that we are not a part of. We are all working class in this room, but we need to reflect the entire working class.
Hi, my name is Michael, she, her pronouns, co-chair of New Orleans DSA. In New Orleans DSA, we've made growing and diversifying our chapter our #1 priority by the membership, and we're rolling out a plan that's adapted to our conditions on the grounds, and we can do that across the country. So I urge everybody to support this resolution.
Thank you. I'd just like to point out that we have more than 6 people in this aisle. If you would like to hash out with the marshal about progressive stack, that's fine. But I'd like to
All
clear
the white
aisle.
men should sit down.
Come to the mic, please.
I want to make a point of personal privilege when it comes to like removing people from the line, because like if we're doing progressive stack, that means seeing everybody who wants to speak and making that decision based on who's in line. When I was in line a few minutes ago, the front of the line was very white heavy, and then there was an attempt to make like 2 women of color leave the line because they were after number 6, and that's not what we want to see.
If you are from a class or an identity that should be prioritized within Progressive Stack, and you are coming up to the aisle and there are more than 6 people, please come directly to the marshal and they will help you hash it out. Thank you.
Wow, they
Speak
actually
against,
have.
or they may.
So they actually have people negotiating the order in line based on the oppression hierarchies that exist in Progressive Stack. I really had no idea this thing had a name. I just call it the woke hierarchy. Fascinating. They actually use it as an organizing principle in this shit show of a convention.
A point of privilege.
Yes.
This is Jeff from Grand Rapids DSA, they, them pronouns. My point of privilege is that I do not think that it is right that in the interest of progressive slack, that if
Progressive
you are
slack,
a
Freudian slip.
minority or any other oppressed population, that you should have to advocate with the marshal, because that puts the weight of self-advocacy on that individual, whereas we should not give them extra work for being an oppressed group, and the marshal should work to identify and
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
My intent by directing them to the marshal is so that the marshal can rearrange the
Yes,
line for them,
yes,
so
I
that
agree with
they
that
do
part.
not have to do that themselves and be confrontational in that way, or be disclosing identities to everybody in the line. So the intent is for the marshal to take on that work.
Okay. I just ask that the marshal be as proactive about it as possible without needing everyone to approach the marshal.
Sure. But not all identities are visible, so that's why. Thanks. Okay.
So
we've
you could
had
just
a
make up an
speaker
identity.
Against. Now a speaker for the motion.
I wanted to respond directly to that point that was just made.
No, I mean, we have a stack. I'm sorry.
Hi. This
She
is
just
Katie,
turned him
she,
away.
her, Metro
She
Atlanta.
turned him away.
I heard some discussion about what's the concrete kind of strategy? What is this presenting? And I just want to clarify, is this a strategy that is being presented, or is this about a creation of a committee that will create that strategy?
So as the chair and as someone who's very familiar with the resolution, I feel comfortable saying that, as far as I understand, this resolution would create the committees and the bodies that would develop strategies. So all those in favor of adopting Resolution 2, creating the DSA National Growth and Development Committee.
This is all for a
please raise your
committee?
placards. All those opposed? The motion carries.
I want to do a point of privilege, speaking as a parent. Can we please let the woman actively holding a baby move a little closer to the front of the line?
Yes.
Thank you. Bria, Boston, she, her. My comrade from Chicago earlier has addressed how supporting the struggles of care workers is a critical expression of our values as socialists. I, as a mom, want to speak to why we must prioritize Child Watch within our chapters to support parents and help raise the next generation of democratic socialists.
Thank you. See a speaker at the points mic.
I would like to, Trey Black, they, them, Memphis DSA. I would like to move that we call the question so that we do not have to force these women and, well, people with children to defend their existence within our organization.
What?
We will now move to resolution number 9, establishing a national anti-fascist and direct action working group. Is there a speaker to introduce the resolution? You have the floor.
Howdy, y'all. My name's Ava. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a delegate from Heart of the Valley DSA, and I'm one of the co-authors of this proposal. We live in a really critical point in history, one where the legitimacy of the neoliberal capitalist institutions that we've relied on to this point have been called into question. This has brought a lot of people to the socialist left. However, it has done this exact same thing for the fascist right. This should scare us shitless. The increased presence of these ideologies poses a very real material threat to people of color, immigrants, queer people, and marginalized folks.
Yes, they mean
from all different
pro-fascist.
walks of
They
life.
mean pro-fascist.
As the largest socialist organization in this country, DSA has done a woeful job in fighting against the fascist creep and fighting for these marginalized people. This is especially disappointing considering the degree of fascist violence that has been directed at DSA members. Chapters have had their meetings disrupted, their members doxxed and physically assaulted. My own chapter has had numerous fascists come to our events, make death threats to us online. It is something that is terrifying, and we should be fighting against it. Especially coming as a rural organizer from somewhere that there is not anti-fascist infrastructure. It is so important that we do this work. It is so important that we have the tools to fight against fascism and its intrusion into our daily lives. Thank you so much.
Is there a speaker against?
Hi, everyone. My name's Emma Cattern, she, her. I'm from New York City, DSA. I'm transgender. I grew up in a small town in Virginia called Poquoson. It's about like 10,000 people. There's an active KKK chapter in the hometown when I was growing up. They did marches regularly. And I'm, I'm a survivor of fascist violence, so I take this very seriously.
I'm a survivor of fascist violence. What does that even mean? Carl, who are these fascists? Who are they? I'm so confused.
And with that in mind, I think that there's a number of security concerns that come into creating a formal working group in regards to anti-fascist violence, and it could lead to the targeting of people like me, people of color in the organization.
Is there a speaker for?
Hello, Source, she, her, DSA North Bay. Far-right violence is undeniable, and I apologize if I get a bit emotional. We just saw this week in California at the Gilroy Garlic Festival. Marginalized people experience the brunt of violence that seeks to undo their very existence. Anti-fascist tactics have been proven to disrupt and stop
She's
fascism.
crying. She's crying.
It is our responsibility as a socialist organization to fight to keep systemically oppressed people safe. DSA is a majority white organization.
You know what they mean when they say that you're denying our existence? It means that they are denying their existence. No one can deny the existence of someone that's standing right in front of them. Like, you exist. Who cares what anyone else thinks? When they say denying your existence, it means that they are denying their own existence, that they're uncomfortable with their own existence, that they haven't come to terms with who they are, they don't love who they are. I know I talk about self-worth a lot, but it always comes back to low self-worth. If these people did not have such low self-worth, they wouldn't be so concerned about what other people thought about their existence. You can fire anyone for no reason anywhere. It's called employment at will. You can fire anyone at any time for any reason or for no reason at all. You can also quit at any time for any reason or no reason at all. So it's not just New Hampshire.
That historically has not been hugely active in anti-fascist work. That's changing, but our members and our chapters need more help.
Yeah.
We've been assaulted, we've been
Right?
doxxed,
Feel a little bit
we've
better?
been threatened because of our work.
We can feel
and
morally superior.
Marginalized members are especially at risk of that. So we need to be able to coordinate, to share best practices and develop resources and trainings to empower comrades to put their feet in the streets and share with each other. We cannot stand idly by. We need to be involved in the fight. We need to support each other. It is our duty as socialists. Thank you.
Point of inquiry.
Sure.
Alec Eskelson, he, him, Kansas City DSA. Our delegation has a question for the authors of the resolution. We would like to know if someone could speak to it, how the resolution could protect the identities of the people who would be on the working group that's proposed to be built.
So I refer that question
Wait.
to the author who motivated, if they'd like
How they can protect the identities of the people in a working group. They're talking about forming a committee. They're talking about forming a group of people, and they're like, how can we protect the identities of these people? It's just a committee. My God. These people the woke make everything significantly more complicated than it needs to be.
to take it up.
So we are obviously, we have not made this working group. We are still in the process of working on it. but we can do a lot of things to ensure the security of the people involved in this working group. We can do things like, using encrypted communications, not sharing lists of members, just really basic security practices that like DSA frankly has not been very good at in the past, but we should be better at, and we should just be better at across the board.
And now a speaker against.
Thank you very much. My name is Tim Zhu from Honolulu DSA, Democratic Socialist of Honolulu. He, him pronouns. I urge delegates to vote no on resolution number 9. When I first read this resolution, I immediately felt unsafe and I had chills. I've had experience coordinating organizing within affinity networks against Proud Boys and fascist hangers-on in Hawaii that were targeting people of color. But all this was done outside of DSA and with people that I deeply trusted. Anti-fascism is good, but needs to be strategic. Creating this working group with public members at the national level is unwise because it makes all of us targets.
White savior complex is a form of white supremacy.
This resolution
Yes,
undermines
it
our
is,
efforts
Nick.
for serious
Yes, it
security
is.
culture. So I urge you to please vote no and support our current commitments that we've already voted on to developing real security culture. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaker at the points mic.
Hi, my name is Alex. He, him, Los Angeles. I want to offer a amendment as the
Hold on a second.
suspend the rules. Yeah.
Okay. So you'd like to suspend the rules to amend?
Yes.
Okay.
As the grandchild of Holocaust survivors, and my grandfather was a socialist
You
organizer
don't
in the
get
30s.
woke
While I
points for
respect the
being a
fact that this
grandchild of
proposal,
Holocaust survivors. Jews
introduces-
are at the bottom of the
I'm sorry,
hierarchy.
introduces marginalized communities, I feel like due to the nature of anti-Jewish attacks over the last couple of years, targeting especially leftist Jews.
Sir.
Oh, I don't think this is going to go well because they don't like the Jews. They do not like Israel. They do not like the Jews. Jews are typically at the bottom of the oppression hierarchy. We've already heard them talk about a Palestinian solidarity group. Let's see how this plays out.
My apologies, comrade. So this is not debatable at this point in time. We need to just get your motion on
Motion
the
to
floor. So you've made a motion to amend. Do I need the specific? Point of order. Hold on a moment. Let me speak with the parliamentarian. Thank you.
Yeah, a brief statement of what it is.
Okay. So I need a very brief statement of what the content of the amendment would be.
To introduce Jewish and Jewish identifying or historically Jewish
Nope,
members.
they're not going to do it.
The list of
Bet you
specific
they're not.
targets of right-wing violence and fascism.
Hold on a second. Can you say it one more time and as slowly as you can? I need
Can
to
you
write
scroll
it down.
down to the part where it focuses on LGBT section, if you can help with that?
Lawrence, could you scroll down to the list of identities in the resolution?
Yeah, people of color and LGBT color people.
Okay, so
Yeah.
as far as I understand it, your motion is very much out of order because it's you
See,
are
told ya.
proposing an amendment to the whereas language of the resolution, which is not operative in any way and will not be published after the convention. So it would
Then
not.
I asked that it be included in somewhere, for the love of God.
It won't be published after the convention.
Why wouldn't any? So they're voting on stuff that they're not going to publish after the convention? That doesn't make any sense. Why are they even bothering? Maybe I just don't understand how these things work. It's entirely possible. I've never been to one. But that doesn't make any sense. Why would you vote on stuff why would you spend all this time voting like talking about something and voting on it if you aren't going to publish the results?
I don't care. It's important that this room understand that Jews are important too. And while we're a marginalized
hold on.
community, we are.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Told you, and I told you they don't like the Jews. I told you, look, this is the highest level of pushback we've seen so far in this video. They do not like Jews, even though Bernie's a Jew. Makes no difference.
On a second. If you would like to come back and make a substantive motion to add this language somewhere else in the resolution and to motion to suspend the rules to do that, that would be in order. But at this point in time, your motion is not in order. So I'm going to return back to debate.
Let me preface this by saying that whether or not this passes, this work is already being done and will continue to be done. This resolution, more than anything, must be the beginning of a culture shift in this organization. I've been the squeaky wheel on this issue for 2 years. I could use more time than we have listing chapters and individuals who've been infiltrated, threatened, and physically attacked by the entire spectrum of the right, from TPUSA nerds to Project Veritas to literal armed Nazis and Confederate militias.
What?
But that hasn't worked. That hasn't gotten through to the people who aren't ready to acknowledge that this is an existential threat that we all face.
Project
too long, we've been
Veritas
allowing
is
a
an
narrative that
existential
pits
threat.
electoralism and
Okay.
anti-fascism as opposite and incompatible types of work. As someone whose entire life is equally consumed by both, I don't understand this framing. I see these two kinds of organizing not just as complementary, but as manifestations of the same. Oh, did you count the time frame? They're manifestations of the same work. As we enter the election season, you'll hear people saying every Trump rally is a fascist rally, and they're right. And it's not just that. Whether you're campaigning for Bernie or your city council, you may well be campaigning against a candidate with explicit ties to violent far-right groups. Whether you're registering voters at the library or changing brake lights or holding a police line at a white nationalist militia rally, they see you the same. The name is enough. The label is enough. Your red shirt is enough. You are already a target. You can't shrink.
Speaker, that's time.
Sorry,
We gave you an
we
additional
don't all have the
20
luxury
seconds.
of shrinking away from this challenge.
We gave the speaker additional time. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Joe. I use they, them pronouns, and I am from the Louisville chapter, DSA. I wish to give a brief trigger warning before I start. I'm going to mention some fascist violence that happened in my city. So Louisville DSA, as some of you may know, was attacked by Proud Boys at one of our events. They pepper sprayed us. And I also want to specify that
That doesn't
in light of
sound
that,
right.
I'm a trans person, I'm a non-binary person, I'm someone who's very much at risk of fascist violence. I am a staunch anti-fascist, and I am not here to speak against anti-fascism, but what I'm here to speak against is this specific resolution, because I believe it endangers DSA as a whole. I believe that making a national anti-fascist working group within DSA, putting the words anti-fascist in it, at a time when the President of the United States is trying to label anti-fascists as terrorists, would put a gigantic target on all of us in the organization, not just those of us, not just those in the working group.
Speaker 4.
Hello, my name is Austin Gonzalez. I'm an NPC candidate from Richmond, Virginia, DSA. I just wanted to fill you all in on a little bit of the background that the Virginia members of the Virginia delegation debated on when we were discussing this resolution, since anti-fascist work is really important to us. The conclusion that we reached is that when members of Congress threaten to label Antifa a domestic terrorist organization, now is not the time to hide from that label. A failure to understand the importance of anti-fascist organizing is the type of attitude that has gotten DSA laughed out of
Wait.
leftist organizing circles.
Did he just say that they should embrace the label of domestic terrorists? That Antifa should embrace the label of domestic terrorists? I'm sorry, I need to rewind here. I need to rewind. I'm pretty sure that's what he just said.
Label anti-fascists as terrorists would put a gigantic target on all of us in the organization, not just those in the working group.
Speaker 4.
Hello, my name is Austin Gonzalez. I'm an NPC candidate from Richmond, Virginia, DSA. I just wanted to fill you all in on a little bit of the background that the Virginia members of the Virginia delegation debated on when we were discussing this resolution, since anti-fascist work is really important to us. The conclusion that we reached is that when members of Congress threaten to label Antifa a domestic terrorist organization, now is not the time to hide from that label. A failure to understand the importance of anti-fascist organizing is the type of attitude that has gotten DSA laughed out of leftist organizing circles in places like Virginia and elsewhere. I have seen too many good comrades leave this organization because of the culture in this organization regarding anti-fascist work. If people think hiding from that phrase will protect us from the far right or will protect us from Congress, you are wrong. They will continue to come after us regardless of the outcome of this.
These people honestly think that Congress is going after Antifa? What universe does this guy live in? I wonder if they still think the same thing today. I wonder when the next convention is. I wonder when when are they streaming something next? We should find out. We should watch it live. Holy shit. I will stream that shit all day, every day. I don't care.
vote. We isolate the other comrades doing this work when we hide from this because this threat is real. We cannot be alienating comrades who organize in challenging territory. And we need to think about a lot of the folks talking about this resolution.
Yeah,
Comrades
exactly.
in the Pacific
Antifa's
Northwest,
just an
comrades in
idea.
Virginia, we deal with this issue. We need to trust our organizers
what
on
I
the
thought.
ground that are facing the far right on a daily basis. Thank you.
Wow. This is
Brandon
this is,
Ramirez.
Patrice, this is like watching, this is like being in a foreign land. I'm just like, I'm not even saying much because I'm just so overwhelmed with the absurdity of it all. Like, and again, we got the edited together clip for another like half hour or so. And then I want to go back and watch the other one too, because I think it's just like the straight stream. So maybe it'll make a little bit more sense, but I feel like overwhelmed right now. I feel completely out of my depth. I feel like I'm in a foreign land where I just don't speak the language. Like all these people understand what's going on and I have no idea. It's like being well, if sociology wasn't a made up field, like it would be a little bit like being a sociologist and studying a foreign tribe that's been living in the Amazon or something, has never had human contact. Yeah, it's like it's like watching an alien planet. This is real. This is really how these people talk and think. And they're currently controlling our government. Congratulations. Does anyone know what they mean when they say NPC? It's obviously not non-playing character. I don't know. I don't know what they mean. Yeah, Carl says, weirdly, this makes me feel like I have nothing to worry about. Well, I mean, there's a reason that the Democrats in Congress have not done a damn thing in 2 years. Well, I guess 1 year. I gave them too much credit. But the Democrats literally control the House, the Senate, and the White House, and they haven't done a damn thing. Oh, non-person of color. Oh, that's what NPC means. A person of non-color. Thank you for that clarification.
As he, him, DSA Los Angeles. I am in the Immigration Justice Committee. We have members of our group who are undocumented. We have many of our members who are from a community that is frequently targeted, and we do not want this to be an unsafe space. We actively try and make sure that this is a safe space. We actively are recruiting members who are Black and Latino. We want to make sure that our group is as diverse as possible.
A white person.
And when
NPC
we try and
equals
engage
white.
in this work, that is going to harm that. So I say we have got to vote against this resolution. It will make
NPC
our
equals
work
white.
on the ground more unsafe and is not the right direction for DSA.
Hi, my name is Matt Rubin. My pronouns are he, him. I'm from Pittsburgh, DSA. I authored this resolution along with my comrades because we are a powerful national organization with resources that we can marshal to make our organization accessible to all. If we are going to be a mass working class organization, we must be an organization that is welcoming and accessible to people with disabilities, to comrades who don't speak English, to people who have kids. Doing things like this, being an accessible organization to people who are, require some accommodation to exist in our spaces, to organize in our spaces, requires some effort and work and resources from us. But I urge you, do not call the question, please, before you get a chance to hear from comrades with disabilities in this organization who we are hurting every time we are having an inaccessible meeting. If you think that comrades are speaking out at this meeting because that this meeting is bad, it's actually that they are organizing at this meeting and they're not talking at other meetings. So I urge you to be very discretionary before calling the question on folks who want to speak out.
Hi, my name's Rob, he, him, North Jersey. I'm not sure what kind of point this is, but I do want to reiterate. I want to use every second possible, but I have no idea what we're voting on without it being on the screen. And while we're trying to maximize every individual second of this thing, we should not be talking at all unless we know what we're talking about, which I certainly do not. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Blanca Esteves. I'm from Northwest Arkansas, and I'm also running to be on your MPC. Hi, comrades. I'm profoundly in support of the spirit.
Are we sure it means non-person of color? Like running to be on your NPC? What is it like? Is it like a board or something? So I used to have a person of non-color t-shirt and my merch store made me take it down. Apparently someone has trademarked that term. Someone has actually trademarked the term person of non-color. So if you got one of my person of non-color t-shirts, you have a limited edition
of this resolution. As a person with an invisible disability, I strongly advocate that accessibility is key to our struggle as socialists.
I know that it's been a lively morning. It has also been a traumatic morning for some people.
Look at that outfit.
As a result of the discussion.
He's even wearing the band around the arm.
particularly,
The neon,
around,
it's like so
issues of
80s.
Sex work, but a bunch of other issues as well. For folks who need to have a space to process through conversation what they experienced this morning, the staff's provided one at Ainsley 1. Ainsley 1.
They have a safe space. Oh,
and,
National
you can
Political
go there.
Committee. Glenda
Additionally,
figured
there
it
are
out.
quiet
National
spaces
Political
at
Committee.
Piedmont 7 and 8. Those
Thank
would
you,
not be
Glenda.
conversation spaces, but they are those that are accessible to just process on your own. And finally, we have had requests, and I would ask people to respect these, particularly on motions in which traumatization is likely.
Hi y'all, I'm Mikey Inoue. I use he, him pronouns. I'm with the Democratic Socialist of Honolulu. We struck the A from my name because we're an illegally occupied sovereign nation. And so are y'all, just saying. We've been, our chapter has been doing a lot of organizing around Mauna Kea. I just came from there after living there for about 3 weeks with the rest of the Lahui, the Kanaka Maoli community. In those 3 weeks, they have built an incredible community that has free healthcare, free food, free shelter, free childcare, and the first tuition-free university for Native Hawaiian learning. It is an incredible place. It is the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced. And so we're trying to get like a solidarity photo. This has been kind of like the solidarity sign for Mauna Kea.
Triangle.
And so I would love if y'all would participate in that. And also, yeah, for the photo. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. So I want to explain that this flag, it does have the Union Jack on it. There's a compelling historical reason for why that is. I won't get into it now, but it was kind of gratitude for the UK, restoring sovereignty after, taking it. So yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Wow, so good, guys. All right. I have
This is
received some
culty and
questions about the
strange.
marshals who are helping to sort of convene the progressive stack. Just so everybody is clear, the marshals at all of the mics are actually not delegates. There's been a concern that they may be politically motivated. None of them are delegates, so just putting that out there. They're not stumping for specific resolutions. They're doing the Lord Marx's work. I have learned that there has been a lot
holy
of
shit.
debate with.
They're doing the Lord Marxist work. Wow.
Within the lines about whether the marshals' recommendations about the ordering and the stack are appropriate.
Thank God I drank beer.
So each mic now has
I would
2
not be able to get
marshals.
through
The
this.
second marshal is to settle disputes.
Even though I'm sick.
If there are disagreements in the stack about who should go first, again, there will be a second marshal there to make sure that it's an impartial decision. The marshals are
The
very
Lord
aware that some
Marxist
identities
work.
are invisible, so as much as possible, they are proactively coming up to folks who are in the stack and just trying to get a sense of who they are and where they should be. And then just again, I want to reiterate what progressive stack is.
Oh, good.
For the intents and purposes of this convention.
Explain.
Progressive stack is meant to ensure that people from historically oppressed and marginalized identities who often don't get heard from enough, not just at this convention, but also in broader society, have a fair chance to speak. But before I do, can you all just give them a huge round of ASL applause?
They clapped
They're
and then
so
they stopped
amazing. They
themselves.
were working through lunch to come up with a plan to keep us all safe. And I'm just so appreciative of them, and I hope you are too.
Again. I want to take a second to speak to the marginalized people in this room. As socialists, we should be practicing harm reduction in everything that we do, and we have not done a great job of doing that this weekend. I want to take a second to honor you and the heartbreaking work that this is taking from every marginalized person in this room. It has been hard.
Crying, crying,
spent my
crying.
lunch break
Everyone gets a free
working with
bingo square if someone
marshals,
cries.
to organize some space for us to center, ground, and process the harm that has been done this weekend, whether it's accidental or not. We need some space and time to do that.
They need a safe space to process the harm that's been done by sheer virtue of attending a convention for their political party. They need to go away and process the harm that's been done because of their political party. How amazing.
I want to invite the marginalized people in this room to meet me after we adjourn at 5 in Augusta E. It's on this floor, just directly across the hall. So we can spend some time in community just processing so that we can go out and continue to organize with each other. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, I'm Ted, he, him from Madison, Wisconsin. Thanks everyone for helping with the spirit of Progressive Stack and making sure that we're keeping each other accountable in this process.
I wonder
Point of
where he
information
ranks. He's fat,
or
so
clarity,
he probably gets some impression points.
Are there marginalized marshals, or are they all, like, I guess I want to know how many marginalized folks are represented by a marshal?
I don't know that I'm necessarily comfortable answering that question, especially since many identities are invisible.
Right, I understand. My main concern is not being represented and having.
Okay, the online vote, the results of the ballot vote on resolution number 9, establishing a national anti-fascist and direct action working group, that passed. It was very close, 521 in the affirmative to 493.
Wow.
To all.
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
My name is Jason, and I'm one of the authors of the resolution. And I request that the resolution be read again and that debate start over.
Okay.
So just to clarify this point and why this is happening is because this was announced and it was announced that we were going to lunch. A lot of disabled folks left the room, including one of the authors who's not even present for the debate. That's why this is being requested. So happy to do this again, I guess. My name is Matt Rubin. I'm from Pittsburgh, DSA. My pronouns are he, him. We put together resolution to support the locals and make DSA accessible to all because if we're going to be a working class organization, we must be an organization which is actually accessible to the working class. The working class is disabled. The working class doesn't all speak English. The working class has kids. The working class makes up a lot of folks who might need some accommodation, some resources, some work from able-bodied comrades, from folks who might not need work to be present in spaces. We got to do some work to make this space accessible to folks. But we can figure this out. We can empower disabled comrades with an accessibility task force to make recommendations, to have 5% of the budget at their discretion. And if you think that's expensive, I want to be clear that do you think at least 5% of our members are disabled? Do you think at least 5% of our members will be disabled if we make this organization accessible?
Hi, my name is Kate Wagner, and I am a delegate from Baltimore DSA. My pronouns are she, her. Please forgive my shaking. I came before you, the chair, today as a person on the autism spectrum, and I would like to take issue first with comrades speaking on my behalf as if all people with disabilities, both visible and invisible, have easily definable and checklistable needs. As someone who is involved also in the architectural profession, I first want to challenge the resolution's use of ADA compliance as a standard. Those of us with disabilities in architecture have long held issues with ADA as a standard that restricts the concept of accessibility to mostly, if not exclusively, include mobility issues only. ADA does nothing to help people with disabilities like mine. Accessibility is not a checklist that can be easily standardized across chapters. It is specific to the needs of the individual.
So mad. Again, so mad. Why are they all so mad?
Trust, acceptance, and good
She's
faith
gonna
in our
cry
comrades to help us be the
too.
best DSAers we can be. This resolution creates a body that has access to unlimited funds that everyday members, including us with disabilities, cannot hold accountable, and that will make decisions on our behalf and the behalf of our comrades who work at the local level to accommodate us. The task force may have gender and racial quotas, which are important, but there's nothing in the resolution about disability that covers the wide range of diversity amongst those with disabilities. Those with autism like me and those with limited mobility like members of my chapter have vastly different needs. I urge my comrades to vote no on this amendment and to listen to disabled comrades in all of their wonderful diversity, tell their own stories and speak to their own needs, rather than have a shadowy body with an unlimited budget and no means of recall to speak for us. I ask to remember nothing about us without us. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Cassidy. I'm from Middle Tennessee DSA. I use she, her, or they, them pronouns. I'm also on the autism spectrum, and I also have some limited physical mobility. Last night, the Disability Working Group met. About 40 people got together to discuss our realities within DSA, and often those realities are that we are not accommodated for, we are not included, we are not thought of.
This is
And even
amazing.
when we are included and thought of, it is often
This is amazing because you're actively seeing the left eat their own. They're like, none of you are woke enough either. No one is ever woke enough for these people, not even people in their own political party.
afterthought. It is often a last minute, well, I guess we can make sure that you can use the stairs, or it's not enough. I really, really would like you to support this as a disabled person, as a comrade, as someone who wants to be here.
Okay, well, I'm going to use this convention as a prism with which to look at this. There have been a lot of things that have been done in the name of accessibility, but I don't know what's been accomplished. I came into this convention and I was asked to do a few things to help, and what should have been a quick 30 to 45-minute run-through turned out to be a 2-hour run-through. I checked elevators. Some of the elevators weren't working. People were put on upper floors, and floors, you know, up there, they're being disenfranchised.
I love
while
the
they're being
movie
told it's a quiet
PCU. I
room,
can't
they're
find it
being told
anywhere.
it's a
Where can I
sensory
watch
room.
PCU
They're
now? I
nursing
can't find it
children.
anywhere. I really want to
in
watch
the
this
name of
movie again. I
accessibility, a lot's
love
being
this
done,
movie.
but I don't think
I
anything's
feel like I
really
would have
being
a
done
whole
that's
other take on it
accomplishing
right
anything
now.
just in terms of this convention. I can tell you that I've done a lot of help with this, and I appreciate the help that's been done, but I'm sorry, I can't speak to what's going on outside this convention, but if you use this as a prism, not much. Sorry.
Point of information.
We have a point of information in the back.
Adam, he, his, Columbus. So this resolution includes a link in the text. This resolution includes a link in the text. Should we assume we are voting to adopt all of the language at that link in addition to the text of the resolution itself?
What's on the floor is the resolution itself that's linked here.
I would say that yes. My understanding, based off of conversations I've had with the authors and the text of the resolution, is that yes, by adopting this resolution, you're adopting the full policy that is linked in the resolution.
Thank you, Natalie.
Drew Marie, Metro DC, they, them, theirs. I have 2 invisible disabilities, and I am normally not someone who needs accessibility, but from listening to what was going on in the disability working group meeting last night, oh, that got my pumped up and just anyway.
Is this person on drugs?
This is
Are they on drugs?
Where I want to speak on this is
honestly,
we do not need to, or we cannot keep what do we need to do to make this accessible? How do we make it accessible? No, it's bake it in from the get-go. Get it on the ground floor. This is make it accessible from the ground floor, not we've got this going on. What do we do to make it more accessible? Thank you.
Do we have a speaker against?
May I make a point of inquiry?
Yes.
Is this document that was linked out to, is anybody able to edit it, or is it by national? Okay, thank you.
The document is something that I believe was submitted by the authors of the resolution and not editable per se. Is that?
No, I think that it would be in order to treat this, for example, if somebody wanted to edit the policy document that's linked, the same rules for floor amendments would stand. We did not receive any amendments for debate during the in order amendments period in advance of the convention.
Thank you. Speaker against.
Brendan Davison, he, him, Kansas City. Comrades, like many of the other speakers, I too suffer from invisible disabilities. I suffer both from autism spectrum disorder and ADHD.
How much do you want to bet that every single person at this convention who is white also suffers from invisible disabilities? Hang on, I'm going to do a poll in the chat. We're going to do a poll. Does every white person at this convention also suffer from invisible disabilities? Yes, no. Let me know what you guys think. Poll is in the chat in YouTube. Just want to say hi to everyone watching over on Odyssey and Rockfin. Guys, I really do believe that we need to be on alt tech as well. Please make sure, if you still want to watch on YouTube primarily, that's fine for now. But please make sure you have accounts set up on like Odyssey, Rockfin, even Rumble, even though I don't stream on Rumble because I'd have to pay them and I don't see much point in that. But I definitely want to encourage everyone to get on alt tech, and that includes becoming a member in my locals. Bing! kb.locals.com, just in case I ever get a strike on YouTube or something stupid. I will always be continuing on locals, on Odyssey, on Rockfin, on all the alt tech sites where I know I won't be censored. So please make sure you're on those as well. Subscribe to my channel on those. I really appreciate it. And mount that like button if you haven't already.
And it is incredibly nerve-wracking for me to come up here and admit that. I'm thankful that we are at least able to have this conversation, but I rise in negation to this resolution because it simply does not address the question. Throwing money at this problem will not make DSA accessible. The answer lies in having real conversations about how we make it inviting, how we make it open and safe for people like me who have ADHD, who have autism, who have other invisible disabilities, as well as physical disabilities, to discuss their problems and understand how we achieve disability liberation.
Hello, Charlotte, she, her from Nassau DSA, Nassau County, Long Island. I am on the autistic spectrum. I have depression and anxiety, and a lot of points are being made against is that it's a waste of money. Someone's actually crying because they feel that someone is actually crying to me because they feel that the against them is a waste, and it's not. And the money is not the whole issue. It's not the whole solution. And we're not trying to shame you into voting for it. It's just asking you as comrades just to open for all of us. That's all. And it's really not a big deal. So
look at all the really spirit fingers. Everyone agrees with you.
Opinion. I yield my time.
So we're back to
point of information.
resolution. Yes. Who's
Sorry, I was actually in line for point of information.
Go ahead.
Based on, I'm sort of confused by the comments earlier around the link that was provided in the compendium. From my understanding, if it's just a link that redirects to a Google Doc, that could be edited after the deadline.
Aha! Someone's on the ball.
If this was the actual text of the resolution, or if this was submitted or edited in a Google Doc post deadline, I'd like to ask the Resolutions Committee, did you receive this plan or this text submitted, or did you receive just a link?
So I'm going to make a couple of explanations. We had a rule, or shall I say, we had a guideline for our resolutions that they should not exceed about 1 page. This is a guideline to try and make it easier to debate resolutions on the floor, because then you can project them in full and people actually understand what they are voting on. The authors felt that this resolution needed a longer policy document that was not possible to get condensed within 1 page. So as it stands, this what this resolution says is that the convention, if passing this, would adopt the longer policy document.
So speaker 4.
Point of privilege. A question of privilege. I just want to remind people to watch their tone of voice while discussing this very heated topic. I noticed that
I would absolutely get expelled from this convention if tone of voice was one of the things that they were judging people on.
some of the individuals from the disability working group were looking incredibly stressed out and possibly on the verge of tears. And I know that people feel very strongly about this, but keep in mind, focus on the content of what you're saying and watch the tone that you say it with.
Hello, my name is Nathan Ailey's. I use he, him pronouns. I have glaucoma and Asperger's
Glaucoma.
functioning.
Okay.
And also
Glaucoma
the
gets
one,
oppression points.
I guess anxiety and
I guess,
depression.
you know, you gotta
and
do what you
it's
gotta
very
do when you're a
difficult
white
to
man.
be in DSA. And DSA should support our oppressed people. And seeing as our people with disabilities are some of
Yeah,
the
we're
most
just all
oppressed
watching in
people,
awe. Bingo has
um,
gone out the
in
window.
the
We're watching in
entire world.
awe. Shock and horror.
We should fight for people with disabilities and our comrades with disabilities and our oppressed people. So you should support this amendment to make it easier for us to fight for DSA and medical for all and all these things and abolish capitalism. Thank you.
Okay, there was an amendment before. I'm not trying to make everybody mad here.
The amendment, the motion to suspend.
I haven't
the
even
rules
finished
failed.
talking. That's okay. That's just another example of what I'm talking about here, though. But that's all right.
The resolution failed.
Can I finish what I said, though, please? I don't know if the amendment that came up before it wasn't. There's a reason for this. I'm saying this. So the amendment that wasn't on the screen, I don't know his amendment. I have somebody coming.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but there was a motion to suspend the rules to allow for an amendment. That motion failed, so there's no amendment on the floor. What's on the floor is the call for the question on Resolution 83.
Okay.
The resolution is as it's written.
I understand. Okay. So I will yield. I apologize to the body.
Thank you.
Can you?
Point of personal privilege. Point of personal privilege.
Sure, on point.
So my point of personal privilege as an ally of the Disabilities Working Group and of Resolution 83 is that because of my ability to walk, speak, sit, listen, see, and tolerate a fairly high level of discomfort and disgust, I've been able to get to this microphone, understand what is being said, even come up with answers to the complex questions that were asked by people who are opponents of this resolution, and even think of certain responses that could be made to those questions. No one. So I just want to call attention to the way in which we may be reproducing the problem that this resolution seeks to overcome, and to also acknowledge the fact that, like so much else that we do for people with disabilities and that people with disabilities do for themselves, let's be honest with ourselves. Do we really think MPC was going to give $400,000 to a new committee?
Continuing debate.
I say that in good faith. I
know. I acknowledge that you are probably speaking in good faith. This was an incredibly contentious debate.
Wow.
We can assume good intent from each other. We are trying to build a better world together. Let's, if I could have a moment.
These people
where
ain't building
everyone's like,
nothing.
let's take a
Nothing would ever
deep
get done
breath
in the
and
world
out
of the
before
woke.
we move on.
Nothing would ever
So,
get done.
On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, now they're doing deep breathing together. This isn't necessarily bad, by the way. Like, not necessarily the worst
we
call
will get
she's ever
through
made.
this.
She should have had them do a couple more breaths, though.
Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Olivia. I'm with the Portland chapter. I helped co-author the 2017 BDS resolution. I am an unapologetic Arab, and I stand proudly with all my brothers and sisters here and around the world that have had to bear the brunt of empire. Puerto Rico is experiencing a coup attempt by the colonial control board against the democratic interests of the people of Puerto Rico. Hawaii, which is also covered by Resolution 50, is demonstrating indigenous resistance to protect Mauna Kea. Palestinians continue to be occupied, expelled, and killed by the Israeli occupying forces. We've already endorsed BDS, and those of us who authored that resolution just want an official body authorized by the national org so we can do the work more efficiently and be supported by our organization. These resolutions are minimal cost, and together they establish a BDS working group, a decolonization working group, and join the National Network of Cuba. From Puerto Rico to Palestine, freedom is the bottom line.
Point of parliamentary inquiry.
On point.
I'm not sure why there's a line here. Robert's rule says that anyone can make a parliamentary motion from the floor. It needs to be recognized by the chair, and then they can step up to the mic and make their motion. So,
Point of personal privilege.
Yes, on point.
My name is Kate Wagner, she, her, Baltimore. I noticed earlier, speaking back on disability, people passing out signs. I ask that you not wave signs or do thumbs up or hiss or boo. This is very distracting to those of us with sensory disabilities. Thank you.
Signs are violence. Signs are violence.
Yes, on point.
Rob, North Jersey, he, him. I'm sure this is all in good faith, but I just need to say this is very confusing. I think we should take a 5-minute formal break to review the resolutions and to progressive stack line speakers up in an appropriate way rather than rushing through. There's nothing to stop someone from calling the question as soon as I'm done speaking. If that were to occur, I have no idea what's going on. And if there's other people who agree with that, I hope we can just take an informal 5-minute break to address this from the floor formally. Thank you.
Name, chapter.
Oh yeah, you guys can have mod status over
My name is
here.
Penny Luisa. I female pronouns, and I'm with Portland DSA. So reiterate the international.
I gotta remod
is
everyone.
closed. You have to apply
Guys,
to
if
get
you want to
in.
be a moderator, you
I
gotta join my
understand that
locals.
the
If I know you that
contention
you're not
is
crazy,
that,
I'm
you
more
know, we
likely
did
to
straw
add you as a
poll and we
moderator.
prioritize the agenda, but we also have to keep into consideration the fact that mostly white dudes. This organization is mostly white dudes, and I feel like if we had a more
If you're in my
diverse
locals and
national
want to be a moderator,
organization,
let me know.
these things would have been prioritized.
Oh, I didn't
of
see
the
Janice
70-some
asking.
resolutions.
Sorry,
there were maybe
Janice.
3 international ones. I myself, I'm an immigrant. I was born in Chile, and so you know, I urge the body not to recreate these problems that we've had chronically as a socialist movement, which is basically moving in a way that's very nationalist. We really need to move to being an international organization in solidarity with oppressed nationalities around the world, and specifically socialist movements. Thank you.
Okay.
A point of privilege.
Yes.
I just want them to get to the vote.
This is Madison
I want to know
Sheeher
if it's
from
gonna
Harrisburg.
pass.
I just wanted to remind people that, like I know during the last one we voted not to take that extra 5 minutes, but I just wanted to remind people that some people have issues processing things, and it would be we are just perpetuating ableism by not allowing people the time to look at to consider resolutions that previously weren't on the agenda and then were amended onto one that was. So just keep that in mind going forward, please. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. It's your motion.
Chris R., Wichita DSA. Motion to reconsider the STV versus border vote. I voted for that measure.
Got it. Okay. So I've consulted with the parliamentarian to consider your motion to reconsider.
Yeah, Spirit Matter, you can be a moderator.
A simple majority, so 50% plus 1. To change it back requires 2/3.
Chris, he, him, Cleveland. Since this was not on our agreed upon agenda, don't we need to suspend the rules to add this to the agenda to reconsider, which would require a 2/3?
So I think you can reconsider items. It's procedural, and it was on the agenda, so we're just taking it back on the agenda. It's not breaking the agenda. Sounds good. Okay.
Madam Chair, may I make a
Hold
point
on.
of...
Hold on. Could we?
May I make a point of personal privilege? I would like to request people speaking over here to respect the fact that this is actually the disabled people's seating area.
They have segregated seating. They have segregated seating.
It caused myself and a couple other disabled comrades a great deal of anxiety. I felt like I was kind of in a mob. I'm very glad that you're passionate about this resolution. That's great. I've actually been seizing through this portion of the debate, having a seizure right now. It's really difficult. For me
You're
to
not
say.
having a seizure if you're standing in a
But
microphone
please
talking.
respect
I'm
the request of the
sorry.
marshals. I
No.
know they asked
Lies.
you to respect that. All 40 of you, or however many of you were up there, we're not going to get the chance to speak anyways. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we are going to,
Can
hold on. So we are going to put up the link for online voting. We're going to leave that.
Can I appeal that decision?
It's almost done. 3 more minutes on this one. Then we're going to move to the other clip that I think is going to be a little bit more.
Can I appeal the chair's decision though?
We'll see.
I don't even remember what the decision was.
To vote online, like to move
okay.
it to move it online. I think we should all decide to do that.
You don't want the online vote.
Oh, until tomorrow. All right, never mind. Just withdrawn.
Okay. Again, please just think twice before you start making procedural motions. It will make things go way faster and easier and less painful. Okay, so we're going to vote online. It's going to be open, and we'll
The
announce
suspense is
decision
killing me on if this
tomorrow.
motion's going to pass.
I
I don't
very
even know what it
briefly like
is,
to
and I'm
raise a point
like,
of order. I'm very sorry. I'm locked out in a DDoS attack complaint from Bitly or from OpaVote, and I haven't even been able to vote on the last one.
Okay.
I'm not sure that we'll have that resolved in an hour.
Can you go to the tech table to receive help? Okay, what is yours? Sales. Okay, so
Point of clarification, please. Yeah, thank you. Or information, one of the two. Either way, maybe it's also a point of personal privilege. Some of us came from very far away. We're here to vote on stuff. So what are we going to do about all of the rest of the stuff that we have to vote on? Because some of us have planes to catch tomorrow, and we can't just reschedule that, and some of us don't have money to, add on to that. So what are we proposing to do?
Yes.
Point of personal privilege. Some of us have certain disabilities that do not allow us to stay in here for hours on end debating these resolutions. We need some sort of a break. We need to call it a day because some of us need time to recharge. We cannot go on like this forever. I am one of them. This is what we were talking about earlier with the lack of accessibility in DSA. We need to take these into consideration, people.
Could you imagine doing this forever? Oh my God.
Hey, can I pretty please informally say a thing on behalf of disabled people and as a disabled person?
oh my God.
You're welcome to keep leaving, by the way. You don't have to listen to
We've
me.
only been watching this for an hour. They did this all day for several days in a
I
row.
can't speak for every single person here with an invisible disability, but I know I personally have a disability where my joints dislocate, and it hurts.
Oh,
And I've
come
been sitting in that
on.
chair for so many hours listening
Come
to people argue
on.
about procedure. It's really frustrating. I get it, all right? And I know we need more time. We were never going to have enough time, but please, for the love of God, stop extending this shit on us. It hurts, and I need to lay down. And I'm not the only one, I'm sure. And I understand your frustration, but
So lay down on the floor. There's a
please
floor
just-
right there.
could you not?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. So
My-
democracy takes discipline. We'll see you tomorrow.
Wow. We didn't even get to the vote. I don't even know what the vote was. Holy shit. Does anyone feel like they've been accosted in the watching of that video? Does anyone feel like they've been like, what the hell just happened? Do you guys want to try to watch the other one? What the hell was that? I might be triggered by that entire video. I'm not making that up. Like, I'm like, maybe it's because I'm sick. Maybe it's because I have a cold. How could that was a 4-day convention? We just watched 1 hour of a 4-day effing convention, and I'm traumatized. All right, let's watch the other one. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. This one was their actual live stream. So I think that this is not like that. The one we just watched was edited together. This one is the actual live stream. But guys, as we move into this other one, please remember to mount that like button. Please remember to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. It looks like 86% of you in the chat believe that every time that every white person also has an invisible disability at this convention. I'd say that's probably accurate considering apparently disabilities come in a variety of form. But let's watch this other one. Get it into theater mode, get it nice and big. This is the actual live stream. And so I think this is going to be maybe a little bit nicer, but I don't know. I don't know what we're about to watch. I don't know if we're going to get through all of it. We're coming up on 7 o'clock here Eastern time. I do have something I need to do at 9. I'm going to a workshop with Joshua to do a vision board. No, I don't have COVID. I have a cold. I got it from Victor. I made him take a COVID test. He didn't want to take it. He was like, no. And he was like, don't tell people on the internet that I'm sick either. But no, he didn't have COVID. So it's just a cold. People still get colds as it turns out. I'm just feeling a little crappy today. All right, guys, let's get into this other one. Let's do it. I'm ready if you are.
Folks hanging around the door, come on in, take a seat. We are about to get started.
If we need to adjust the volume, we can, but let's.
It already sounds more exciting than debates were just a minute ago. Come right in. Dance if you must. All in this comes from solidarity. And that's what
Here we go. Here we go.
Them, and I am proudly representing Houston DSA. It's an honor to be here, united by our determination to build a more just future where social.
Thanks for dropping by, Benjamin. Appreciate you. Have fun with the wife.
Our power to build this future comes from solidarity.
There it goes.
And that's
There's
what
the
we'll be
volume.
hearing about tonight from comrades from DSA's ranks and around the world, as well as special guests, Cecily Maillard Cruz and our own Linda Sarsour. Well, I knew solidarity before I knew socialism. I came into DSA through reproductive justice, a framework developed by Black women 25 years ago, which Sister Song, based right here in Atlanta, defines as the human right to maintain personal bodily autonomy, have children, not have children, and parent the children we have in safe and sustainable communities. Exercising solidarity has meant fundraising and volunteering with my local abortion funds to help people overcome financial and logistical barriers to abortion access.
Wow.
It has meant sharing my own abortion story so that everyone who has made this personal decision, often a parenting decision, know that they are loved and they're not alone.
Okay, I'm sorry. Listen, man, I'm pro-choice. I am. I don't think abortion should be available without limits. I think the depths to which these people have gone to is disgusting. But abortion is not a parenting decision. It is not a parenting decision. Let's be clear. It's not a parenting decision. It's people like this that leave me fighting with conservatives about, like, should women who are raped have the ability to choose whether or not to have the baby of their rapist? It's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
First feminist socialist working group meeting almost 3 years ago, the same impetus to grow community based on radical compassion has carried me through local disaster relief and electoral campaigns, and there's no stopping now. If there remained any doubt that socialism is the path to the self-determination that we demand and deserve, I also saw my comrades around the country raise $137,000 for the Abortion Access Bowl-a-thon earlier this year.
Bowl-a-thon.
Now, speaking of fundraising, as socialists, we recognize the varied financial capabilities and accessibility needs of our comrades. That's why, with your support, DSA Solidarity Fund helps ensure that our
I'm tired every time someone has a runny nose.
isn't
People jump to the
hindered by
conclusion
income,
that it's the coup.
access to funds,
I
accessibility
agree.
needs, parental obligations.
But
or
to be
child
fair, I did demand Victor take a COVID test.
the
I was like,
best
did
of
we
our
finally
ability.
get it? Did we finally get?
And
I
we're
was like
getting
all
better
excited. I was like,
and
did
better
we get
every day.
COVID?
As a poor and
No,
working class
didn't get
organization,
COVID.
our funding can only
I've tried
come
so
from
hard
a
to get
principled
COVID.
place and in a democratic way. We must fund ourselves. The $94,000 we've raised from over 1,000 comrades so far is just the beginning. So please contribute to the Solidarity Fund today during this event and live stream. Throughout this program, you'll have various opportunities to give. For people watching online, you can pitch in at dsausa.org/solidarityfund. Give, but also join DSA if you haven't already at dsausa.org/join.
Wouldn't they all have joined if
Today
they're
only,
delegates at a
joining
convention?
and or contributing to the Solidarity Fund gets you a really awesome sticker. I wish I had one right here. Let's just imagine it together. So all of which is to say, what are you waiting for? We have a future to build together, and this movement needs you. This is community care. It's a culture of solidarity.
Abortion is community
To speak on
care.
how one chapter fosters this culture, I'd like to invite to the podium my fellow Texan, Ashkan Jahangiri of Austin DSA. Ashkan was elected chapter secretary and has been on Austin DSA's leadership committee since November 2017. Welcome.
Hello, comrades. My name is Ashkan Jahangiri. I use he, him pronouns. I've been a member of DSA in the Austin, Texas chapter for 2 years now. In that time, DSA members across the country and in Austin have relentlessly organized to build working class power, and we have a lot to show for it. I'm going to talk about how DSA's culture of political solidarity is a critical layer on top of which we organize our campaigns and build our movement. The small acts of everyday solidarity we extend to each other cuts past the dominant hyper-individualism of capitalist society and allows us to organize together in earnest.
Sam.
It's incredible to be here. I'm so proud to be a part of this movement.
I'm just
Since
going
our
to start
last
saying
convention
point of
in
privilege everywhere.
2017, DSA members have been critical to the ongoing teacher strike wave, to the election of class struggle candidates like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and we've made Medicare for All the most important issue of the 2020 national primaries.
Not important
In
enough,
Austin,
apparently.
we've
Not
organized
important
to win a
enough.
city council ordinance for paid sick
At least we
leave
can
for
gloat in
hundreds
their
of
utter
thousands of
failure
workers.
about getting the president
We
they
also
wanted.
organized to win a long-fought campaign that forced Congressman Lloyd Doggett, a millionaire Democrat, to sign on to the Medicare for All bill. We've done so much more.
We still don't
Political
have Medicare for
education,
all. It's been 3
canvassing
years.
for a Green New Deal, standing in solidarity with organized labor, and beyond. And now, the chair of our Health Justice Committee, Heidi Sloan, is running for Congress as a Democratic Socialist in Texas. But what got us here? And how do we keep going? I joined DSA exactly 2 years ago. It was my introduction to political organizing. I look around, how did I get here? How did you get here? How did I get from my first meeting, where I knew so little, to where I am now, a delegate at the largest gathering of American socialists since the 1940s? How can we bring thousands more, millions more into the organized class struggle? The answer is complicated, but I want to highlight a key ingredient that holds DSA together. What allows us to come together to organize campaigns that build the power of the working class is that we are grounded in a culture of political solidarity. We act according to the maxim, from each according to their ability, to each according to their need. And we don't just do so out of the goodness of our hearts, but because this solidarity is conducive, is critical to organizing to build working class power. I look around this room and I see scores of working class people of so many different backgrounds. I don't know many of you, but we share much in common. What we all share in common is a certain knowledge and understanding. We know that we are in this together, and that only by sticking together and organizing together to grow our ranks and expand our reach do we stand any chance of taking power from the capitalist class. I know now that I can walk into a DSA meeting anywhere in this country, and I, or you, or any newcomer can quickly contribute to the latest campaign to build power. And that's because DSA is full of dedicated socialist organizers like ourselves who understand what it takes to bring DSA members, who are just a loose association of working class people, together in the struggle. It takes small but critical considerations, like having food at meetings. DSA spaces are different than
Having
any
food
other
at meetings
space
is
in
clutch.
society
It is
that I
key
have
to
been
the
accustomed
entire
to
endeavor.
before joining. My life was very different before I joined DSA. As I was becoming a socialist, I didn't know how to cope with my recognition of all the problems in society, problems that directly affect my life and those of my friends. Rent is too damn high, we couldn't get jobs or jobs with benefits, and global warming was making Texas summers even more miserable in the short term and dooming humanity, maybe even the capitalist class, in the long term. My friends also didn't know how to cope with these problems or with my constant bickering and agitating about them. I was becoming frustrated with my newfound ability to see the problems of the world alongside what I felt was my inability to do anything about it. So I showed up to a DSA meeting. I knew from Twitter that Austin DSA had 800 members, which seemed like enough to do something. So I showed up to the next meeting I could find. I showed up to that first meeting, clueless about organizing, but enthusiastic about raising class consciousness. I immediately got my first taste of this political solidarity that I'm talking about, and I saw how it made a difference.
Should we all
how it
hang
allowed
on,
us to
pause.
organize.
Wouldn't it be funny if we all went on a mission to attend a local Democratic Socialists of America meeting? How many of you would be up for this? Can we all, if I have the haircut for it, man, I would blend right in. I'd do it. They probably know who I am. I don't know. Maybe not. Probably not. I don't know. I don't know if they would know who I am. Should we all try to, I think we should all try a super secret mission to attend a Democratic Socialist of America meeting in our local towns and then report back and find about what we found out. I think that would be a fun activity. That would be like a group activity. Remember, you gotta do spirit fingers, no clapping, spirit fingers only.
We were sitting outside on some coffee shop patio at a very overcrowded table. It was loud and it was hot, again, summer in Texas. I was too broke to buy coffee, but I was stunned when I saw that one member just bought iced coffee and food for the whole table before the meeting. As someone who was broke and thought about every single penny, this was a big deal to me. But it also wasn't a big deal to the table, and that's what was important because it meant that everyone had what they needed to fully participate without the distractions of just getting by in society. By relieving some of the burdens that capitalism puts on us, we were able to devote our energy toward organizing together. This was so radically different than the life I was used to with my friends. We had a culture of Venmoing each other for every slice of pizza or six-pack of beer, and it fostered mistrust, questioning, and shame. But here, someone who could do so just got coffee and snacks.
We all
for
have
everyone,
invisible
and we
disabilities
proceeded
if we
to
go
have
to
a
the
productive
DSA meeting. Remember, you have invisible disabilities.
What do
You have
Before I knew
glaucoma.
it, I was spending 30 hours
You
a
have
week
anxiety.
on DSA and trying to build the socialist movement. Yeah, so I don't know. As I got more involved in organizing meetings, canvases, and outward-facing events to bring in new socialists, I saw that it didn't just happen.
Maybe we can learn a thing or two about organizing from the socialists. It can be like a scouting endeavor. We could learn about organizing.
My favorite example of this is Austin DSA's tradition of hosting barbecues after major canvases, or grilling, depending on where you're from. We cook food for each other, we chat with new members and help them get plugged into our chapter, and we rely on our chapter's ability to donate so that everybody gets a plate to eat and a beer to drink if they'd like. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but it's been a big part of our culture, and it helps make our canvases successful and well-attended. Capitalism only ever teaches us to be good consumers. I think the first thing we have to do to fight capitalism and build socialism is to break that. We can't get anywhere with the transactional relationships that dominate the rest of our lives.
So what do you want to do as an
I'll wrap it
alternative?
up. Finally,
What's
I'm
an
organizer,
alternative?
So as you know, I have an ask of you. Do you want to ensure that every DSA member has the opportunity to participate in gatherings like this? Yeah. We practice solidarity in many ways. From the solidarity housing many of you are staying in, to subsidizing the convention with our dues, to
Solidarity
hosting the convention
housing.
at one of the only unionized
Wow.
hotels in Atlanta, to being able to come to the convention because of travel scholarships from the Solidarity Fund. The working class is varied, and you know what your capacity to give is. If you have deep pockets, please consider making a substantial contribution. $100, $500, $5,000 to the Solidarity Fund. If your pockets aren't so
How
deep,
do you have $5,000 if
$50
you're
or
not a
$25
capitalist?
or even $5 makes a difference. We are all in this together, and if you can afford to give, please do so now, and I'll tell you how. Last thing I want to say is that we need socialist cash to take out capitalist trash. I'm going to donate right now $50. Oh my God. Who's with me? Someone going to donate? Right on. I see a few hands.
See, this is the fatal flaw in their plan. They hate capitalism, which means that none of them have money, which means that they can't actually raise the money they need in order to fight the evil capitalists. This is their fatal flaw. It's like, we don't even need to worry about these people. They're not going to, like, they're not ever going to do anything. Well, we do kind of need to worry about them because they've infiltrated our entire education system. That might be a little bit of an exaggeration. Maybe not like the entire thing. But still, like, I don't know. I don't know. Do you think these people are something to worry about? I don't know. Money does matter at the end of the day.
Folks with squares, can y'all raise your hands? Credit card things. Who can take your credit card information or collect your cash or your checks if you brought extras. And if you donate today, you'll get a sticker with a rose on it. Close your eyes and imagine it. Those watching online, you can give at dsausa.org/solidarityfund, and you will receive your rose sticker in the mail. Thank you, and solidarity forever. I'm going to hand it back to Hannah.
Let's see a warm round of ASL applause for Ashkan. All right, let's take a few moments as volunteers go around. Raise your solidarity cards to flag someone down to take your cash, check, credit card. Folks giving online, as a reminder, it's dsausa.org/solidarityfund. I was about to say join because it's so automatic. But hey, if you want to join, if you haven't yet, our movement needs you. So we'll take a few moments. I see folks moving around.
Are you just standing around? Should I fast forward? Apparently so. Oh God, why is there a commercial? No!
And it keeps all my investments on track.
Why am I?
You and your internet
Why
friends
am
told me
I
to buy
giving
just fell
them
20%,
money?
Brian.
I
You
thought
wait for
they
the
didn't like
squeeze, buy more.
capitalism. This is literally on the
Invest
DSA
for the long
YouTube
term
channel. Why am
on
I
your-
giving them money by ads? Hey,
I was
what
used-
the hell? Literally, I am literally giving them money through ads when they're railing on capitalism. This is the problem. This is the problem. All right, Carl, thanks for joining. Have a good one. All right, we're getting back into it now. What's next? Another white man, of course.
Hey everybody, I'm Ethan Earl, DSA at large, he, him, been in DSA since 2015 and been co-chair of our international committee since late 2018. We're in a period of reforming and growing out the international committee to sort of match the new organization.
I'm really
that
glad we
are
watched the
today,
other one first.
particularly post 2016.
The other one was like the
So if
crash
anybody
course.
wants
This is more
to
like
talk to me about that process. Here I am. I'll be here all
Chill.
weekend. We'll be having also at 8:30 an open meet and greet for anybody who'd like to learn more. We're also really happy to be here with, I believe, 14 or so comrades from all over the world, from every continent, who are leaders and struggles under really some of the most difficult conditions imaginable. And it's been a real, I think, pleasure and privilege to have them. For me anyway, in this moment where DSA is growing so fast, is moving so fast, and everything is coming at us so quickly and seems so close, it's fantastic to have folks from other parts of the world who can share with us their perspective and who can help to give us perspective about the challenges we face, about what holds us and brings us together as socialist comrades, and what really matters. So that said, we've got, I believe, 7 comrades who are going to come up on stage and in the spirit of solidarity, share with us solidarity greetings from different parts of the world, say just a minute or two about the struggles that they're facing, what they're going through, and how we also can provide solidarity to them in their work and in their struggles. So all of that said, I'm going to get right into it with our first speaker, Rasha Mubarak from the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights. Give it up for Rasha.
Hello. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Rasha Mubarak, and I come from Orlando, Florida. I am a Muslim daughter of Palestinian immigrants. I was born in Brooklyn, New York, but I don't claim my New York card. I say I'm a happy Floridian unless you get my Brooklyn blood pumping, which is quite often post 2016.
I wonder if she still is in Florida now.
Representing the
Maybe
US
she moved back to New York.
campaign for the Palestinian human rights. And for me to know that we are at a point where 2 Palestinian women are going to be speaking on the same stage, and there's no tokenization, appropriation, that this is about real solidarity, and to know that someone like Linda goes beyond work for Palestine
Linda
for Muslims, but
Sarsour.
she represents solidarity.
I've never heard Linda Sarsour speak.
Y'all, we
I'm a
are
little excited
living
about
in
this.
dark times that will forever define who we are. Will define who we are as residents in this country, as citizens in this world, as humans on this earth. At the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Human Rights, we understand that only when we uplift and center connections between the struggle for Palestinian rights, the struggles for indigenous, Black, and brown communities, and other marginalized groups impacted by U.S. policies, both within and outside U.S. borders, we all will rise. We all will be free of persecution, and we will all finally breathe liberation. There is a global divide between those who believe in freedom and equality for all, and those who justify racial and religious supremacy. While every struggle for freedom from Palestine to the US is unique, it is our values that bring us together. That is solidarity. Right-wing, repressive, anti-democratic governments are rising around the globe, from the Trump administrations in the United States to the governments of president in Brazil, in Israel, and in the Philippines. Since Donald Trump came to power, his administration has charted out the most racist path for the future.
How?
Denying people who are Black, brown, Muslim, immigrant, refugee, LGBTQ, and our women their rights to live in safety and freedom. Y'all, yes, these are debilitating times, but this is also a political moment for Christ.
Hang on, guys. I just want to pause for this super chat from Rachel. Rachel, thank you. Carlin, if you did go to one of these conventions and weren't recognized, would you try to speak? Oh, you bet I would. And if you did, would you try to derail all of it or totally troll as one of them? It's probably best to come up with a plan. I would probably try to troll, but I would probably try to troll in a way that like I totally like fit in. I would be like these disability people. I'd be like, please don't stand in the aisle. I have depression and anxiety, and you're just triggering all of my insecurities right now by standing up in the aisle. I'd be like that person, probably. But that would also derail them because like if I did it, other people would probably do it too. I don't know. We're gonna come up with a plan. I'm gonna have to go incognito. I'll have to wear a hat, maybe like some sunglasses. I'll get like a t-shirt on it. I'll wear one of my old Bernie sweatshirts. I still have Bernie Sanders stuff. I still have Bernie stuff from back in the day. I used to love Bernie. That'd be pretty rad though. We're going to have to think about this. I'm not messing around. I want to make, for my locals people, and I know a lot of you guys are locals members. If you aren't, you should definitely join. But like, we should talk about this in locals. Let's try to infiltrate some Democratic Socialists of America meetings and just see how it goes. Maybe we'll be able to make friends. Maybe we'll even be able to convert people. Maybe we'll be able to red pill people. We could even be like, point of personal privilege. What did Donald Trump do to adversely impact Black people? I don't know. We'd come up with a plan. I actually have, get a blue or purple wig. I have hairspray that is like hair dye. So I actually have hairspray that if I use it in my hair, it'll turn it red or purple or blue or what have you. You can get it at like CVS. I think we should do this. I'm getting serious about this idea.
Crises for rights globally. It presents opportunity to build a stronger movement for justice. Right now, we are witnessing a new U.S. far left, DSA. We are taking power in progressive wing of the world. Advocates, women of color, people in Congress, Black and brown activists are being attacked and targeted and marginalized because we all know that collective liberation
She gonna cry?
threatens supremacy and supremacy's opponents. Y'all, this is tiring. They seek to silence those who advocate for
I've been
real
speaking for
liberation
2
that
whole
includes all
minutes. It's just
people.
too much.
They'd rather
It's too
squash
much.
and quell the voices
Too
that
much.
seek justice unconditionally, without exception. We are the people, we are the power. We need DSA activists, operatives to lead the shift towards rights-based, rights-first discourse on foreign policy, including on Palestine and Israel. Solidarity is to believe in equality. Solidarity is to pursue freedom. Solidarity is to demand justice. We can't allow exceptionalism to suffocate the plight to unconditional freedom of justice and equality when it comes to the human rights of people. We must fight for all people, regardless of where you come from, how you choose to worship, and the land that you live in. Thank you.
I can't help but notice they all have
Thanks
like
to Rasha for
$3,000
those,
computers.
powerful words. Next up, we have one of our international guests who is a challenger for Furthest Traveled Award, perhaps even besting our comrades who came on a bus from Kansas. From Japan, we've got Seishi Inada from the peace organization Zenko. Welcome, Seishi.
Hi, my name is Hinada, Japanese Democratic Socialist. It is a great honor for me to be with you all American Democratic Socialists, along with other international guests, to be at this historic DSA convention in Atlanta. On behalf of Zenko, National Assembly for Peace and Democracy, as well as MDS, Movement for Democratic Socialism Japan, I would like to extend my fraternal greeting of international solidarity, peace, and justice. Zenko is a Japanese grassroots
I'm gonna fast
social
forward.
movement organization.
I feel like these are
covering a
just
variety
like
of
ads
topics.
for like other people. Like I don't even
Europe,
know.
where we had another recent show.
I want to see Linda Sarsour.
Next.
I want to see Linda
going on
Sarsour. I'm
here
sorry, guys. This has been a long day. I'm
already?
feeling sick.
Average every day.
They're all just
I mean-
pitching their causes. I want to see Linda Sarsour.
And the political. Or the human beings are the
Oh
same.
my God,
We
this is
send
going on
letters.
forever. Where is Linda
Challenge and get 50.
Sarsour?
Cultural
Wait, what's going on here? Hang on. What are they
So
singing?
we're gonna sing the Internationale, which is the supposedly you guys have these lyric sheets in your packets or something. So please take it out. I would, if you can take a look at your lyric sheets in the chorus, which is starts the third one down. There is a his pronoun. We're gonna use they. So try to keep that in mind. Okay. And,
They're degenderfying
just
the
a little
song.
bit about this song. It's been like the anthem of the international working class since the 19th century. Socialists, communists, anarchists.
Yeah, applause
democratic
is bad, but
socialists.
singing a
Everyone
song
has
is
been
fine.
Singing this song, and so when we all rise together, which is what we're going to ask you to do, we are evoking that history and reaffirming our commitment to the international working class struggle. Oh, okay.
Right. So as my comrade said, so please, if you're willing and able, please stand for the singing of the Internationale, the anthem of the left.
The anthem of the left.
Arise, ye prisoners of starvation, arise, ye wretched of the earth, for justice thunders condemnation, a better world's in birth.
This is the woke anthem.
No more traditions change shall bind us, the rising slaves. No more
This is like out of 1984 right here.
the earth shall rise on new foundations. We have been not, we shall be all. 'Tis the final conflict. Let each take their place. The international working class shall be the human race. 'Tis the final conflict. Let each take their place. The international working class shall be the human race.
Were any of you triggered by that song? I was a little triggered. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to start a poll in the chat on YouTube. Were you triggered by that song? Yes? No? That was like, you know, the 1984 movie. I actually really like that movie. I think they did a good job. That song could have been sung in that movie. That song literally could have been sung in the 1984 movie. This is real life. It's a couple years ago. I cannot even. What the hell was that?
Thank you so much. If you're in New York City, August 9th, People's Forum, we're having an anti-fascism themed concert. So come sing, hang here,
Oh,
sing in
good.
solidarity, sing with other
Oh, good.
awesome activist musicians.
Oh my God. I can't. I can't. Are we bringing Linda up yet? Are we bringing Linda Sarsour up yet? I can't take anymore.
All right, y'all. While we're on the subject of giving and labor solidarity and picket lines, who all went out to the picket line earlier today? Yes.
They staged a picket line.
It is my pleasure to introduce you to Abby Agresti of Chicago's DSA Labor Working Group, who supported workers in her city across a 26-hotel strike.
I want to see Linda Sarsour. I'm sorry.
Whatever amount is meaningful to you.
Being $24.
I want to be. I want to hear shilling.
United Teachers Los Angeles,
Oh, hang on, teachers, hang on. We're
any
listening to
group
this.
to show
Let's
up
listen
for
to
their
what they say
communities,
about
it's educating.
teachers at the Democratic
A teacher
Socialists
for
of America.
23 years.
Oh,
both
good.
at
A
the
teacher
elementary
for
and middle school levels.
elementary
She brought the
school
house down
teacher.
at this year's YDSA conference.
Okay,
and I can't
we're
wait
paying
to
attention
hear
to
from her
this.
right now. Let's give Cecily Meyer Cruz a warm.
Yeah, let's listen to the teacher of 23 years at the elementary and middle school level.
All right.
Teacher.
Good evening, sisters, brothers, and non-binary siblings. My name is Cecily Meyer Cruz, and I am United Teachers Los Angeles NEA Vice President. And I'm humbled by the invitation to share with you tonight. For as long as I can remember, I have been an organizer and an activist. Whether it was in
And an
11th
elementary
grade,
school teacher.
as a student in 1989, jumping the fence to walk with my striking teachers, leading paraprofessionals to organize and demand our duty-free break, as a first-year teacher in Compton, organizing a sit-in at the district so that we could get paid, or in January, striking with 35,000 of my closest colleagues. A strike that continues to reverberate throughout the nation. Our strike did not happen overnight. It took 4 years to build structures, to test those structures, to refine, retool, reassess, and repeat. But let's go back. In 2011, progressive-minded folks passed a resolution called the Schools Los Angeles Students Deserved. It was shelved by our former president of the union. We assessed the terrain of our union and how to take it over. And in 2014, we were elected, and we used the Schools Los Angeles Students Deserve as an umbrella of what was needed. We needed to change our union from being a service model to an organizing one. That meant we needed to hire an executive director, a research and analytics director, a communications director, a field and organizing director.
She's literally talking about changing the teachers union in Los Angeles to be activists. They're describing how they changed the teachers union in Los Angeles to be activists in function. I hope none of you have kids in Los Angeles schools. That's all I'm saying.
Political director and regional organizers. That was a lot. But we needed that.
2+ years ago.
We needed all of these positions to enact a change that our union needed and deserved. And so we got to work, conducting a deep organizing plan with students, community organization, parents.
They're conducting an organizing plan with students. I just really want that to sink in with everyone. This was over 2 years ago. And this woman got up at the national political convention and said she was conducting organizing with students. She's saying the quiet part out loud. But critical race theory isn't taught in schools. No, of course not. Of course it's not.
Where our goal was to listen to the community and lift up our issues and theirs simultaneously. We also began going to school sites. We have 925 of them. We led bargaining and listening sessions with members, and we did the same with the community. We used the model bargaining for the common good to lift up our issues along with the communities. And in order for folks to actually buy in, we needed to be real. We needed to be authentic. But meanwhile, the district and the privatizers with their neoliberal agenda said the district was broke on purpose, They created a crisis, they starved our schools, and then they blamed educators. Educators lay dormant, working and providing for our students.
Yep. And once
They
it's
never
signed,
asked
now
for
we see the
much
results of their work. We're seeing the
except
results of what they did right now.
RESPECT. Respect the work that we do, respect our students, respect our parents, and respect our communities. The district could care less. They underestimated educators. They used FUD, F-U-D, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That's what bosses do, no matter what profession. They prey on fear. They never thought that educators would use their outside voice. But educators grew tired of the district's non-responsiveness, and they showed the world what fed up was really like. So on January 14, 2019, in torrential rains, and by the way, Tony got it wrong, because it does rain in Southern California. 35,000 teachers, along with 30,000 parents, students, and community members, went on strike for the soul of public education. The district could not frame us as greedy teachers. We owned and controlled the narrative for 6 days. And by the way, we still control the narrative. We spoke about class size and over-testing, supports for our students, community schools, immigration defense, green space, and ending random searches that criminalize and marginalize our Black and brown youth, our queer youth, and Muslims. Our picket lines were strong. Our message was disciplined. And the one-on-one conversations that we led.
Yeah, I want to point out something important that Just T is saying in the chat, and this is frequently one of my criticisms with conservative commentators. Hang on. Sorry, got a cold. Sorry. But Just T is making a great point. Funny how back when this was being clipped and shared so much in 2019 and 2020, no one on the right-wing commentary side took note of what this woman was saying, which is probably, to be quite frank, the most important thing that we have watched yet on this stream. No one took note of what this woman, who is an elementary and middle school teacher, was saying. They clipped out all the insane parts, and that's all fine, well, and good. But this is why we do this on Happy Hour. This is why we watch things like this, because it's like the things that aren't being clipped, because they aren't outlandish enough and crazy enough. What she's saying is actually the most important thing that we've watched today. The right doesn't pay attention to the things they should be paying attention to. I'm sorry, they just don't. They do not take their responsibility seriously. They just want to destroy them and cut the most outlandish clips, when in fact the most nefarious clips, the things that are actually going to cause the most problems, are this. Thank you, Just T. That's a great point.
Parents and community daily were undescribable. Parents and students and community organizations held actions at targeted district official and privatizer homes every single night of the strike. The community showed up in ways we could never have imagined. And we thank you, DSA, for running tacos for teachers. That generous donation fed many people on the line and sustained striking workers. DSA LA put 220 folks at 3 school sites to bolster picket lines. And that meant a lot, but it showed us solidarity. It means that we have a common struggle that intersects, and everyone in this room and outside watching knows that you've got to be a part of the movement building. But we must also sustain the fight by giving to organizations that supported us during the strike. We can no longer afford to complain about what is going wrong in our organizations if we are not willing to move up and make significant changes. We don't have that luxury. We've got to get involved in our locals. We've got to get involved in affiliate locals. And we've got to have courageous conversations with people who you don't even know. You've got to have one-on-one conversations to frame the choice with them, because that is the only way that we are truly going to build power on the ground. Now, I see teaching as a revolutionary act, just the way I see organizing. It's hard, it's messy, and sometimes it can be too much. But you can never allow fear to win. We must engage folks to take action in different ways. And we must make every work site an anti-racist one. So when I say Black Lives,
they were talking about it in 2019, and the right was so interested in owning the libs that they didn't even notice. Why haven't we seen this clip before? It's literally on their live stream. Why wasn't this on Tucker Carlson? Why wasn't this all over Fox News? This really pisses me off, because they were more interested in talking about how there was like a point of order objection over fucking gendered pronouns than they were in talking about this. This is an elementary school teacher in Los Angeles 2 years ago talking about how all Los Angeles schools need to be anti-racist schools. And this wasn't the thing they played. They played the stupid objections over the pronouns. I can't, man. I don't know how James Lindsay does what he does, because I completely understand. Like he feels the weight of the world on his shoulders. Like he's the only one fighting the good fight to like defeat this stuff. And I completely understand why. Because like there's so few people focused on what actually matters. We have to do better. We have to do better. All of us have to do better.
Matter.
They were telling us exactly what they were doing. They were telling us. They were doing it in the open on the internet. This was streamed live on the internet when they did it. And no one clipped it. And no one made a big deal out of it. You know, sometimes I think one of the reasons I have such burnout with all of this is it seems just like an overwhelming prospect to be able to fight back, because when you try, it's like, it just feels like so few people care about the real stuff, about the important stuff, about the stuff that matters. Because they're also focused on the things that like, on the pronouns and the gender stuff. And it's like, I understand that that's important. I don't want to see kids medically transitioned when they're young. I don't want to see them influenced in that way. I think that everyone should be able to grow and develop as they want to. And I'm not dismissing concern about that. But what she's talking about is so much more dangerous. It's so much worse. And they were doing it right out in the open and no one noticed. We all have to do better.
Doesn't discount anyone else's life. I say that because of the most marginalized folks that are being attacked in the workplace and outside this very moment. That means that we've got to connect in different ways with people of color, with women of color, and gender non-conforming. We must have them centering our work.
Thank you for
to
being here,
move
Steve.
Our organizations forward. We are looking for co-conspirators and accomplices in this struggle. And as far as our youth, they are not the future. They are the present. And we need to wrap our arms around them because they are leading in this moment. We must walk alongside them.
She's talking about
They are
weaponizing the youth
watching
like they
us,
did in China.
And it is up to us to change where we are, to engage with them in a way that shakes the very foundation of our nation. This isn't a moment, this is a movement. This is not a sprint, but a marathon. The time is now to lead, to act boldly, and to be unapologetic in our quest for building power and complete liberation of our people. Solidarity.
Wow. That's probably the most important thing we've watched all day.
RESPECT. Thank you. Hard to follow that, but we have one last speaker left to introduce while y'all let the solidarity just soak in. Our next guest, Linda Sarsour, is a DSA
Finally!
member, Palestinian American Brooklyn community organizer, self-proclaimed Islamophobe's worst nightmare, and former executive director of the Arab American Association of New York. Linda has been co-chair of the 2017 Day Without a Woman and the 2017 and 2019 Women's Marches, as well as the lead plaintiff in a suit challenging the legality of Trump's travel ban. Earlier this year, Linda and I, having never seen each other before, crossed paths in line for the She the People Presidential Forum at Texas Southern University back in Houston. And before I could finish awkwardly saying something along the lines of "thank you for being here," she already had me in a warm hug, which is a testament to the power of solidarity. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Linda Sarsour.
All right, Linda, finally. I've been waiting for this. I've never seen her speak.
What up, DSA? So I get invited to these spaces because I got to speak truth, because that's just the Brooklyn in me. Like in Brooklyn, I always tell people it must be something in the water. Maybe the water is actually missing something. We just don't have any filters. So I'm just deeply honored and humbled to be amongst all of you today, amongst my New York City DSA members, my colleagues, so many people in this room, organizers that I've known and worked with for so long. You know, I literally looked at the program. I was like, what is Russia doing here? Why did she not tell me that she's going to be here? So I'm glad to have seen folks or be surprised by the presence of folks. My dear brother, Abdullah Yunus, from co-chair of New York City DSA chapter, and Bianca. Like, I'm just really proud of the people that we brought here from New York, repping us back in our home state. When I think about DSA, and I think about the potential that DSA has to be a true political force in this country at a time when we need it most, these words from Muhammad Ali come to me. Impossible is just a big word thrown around by small men who find it easier to live in the world they've been given than to explore the power they have to change it. Impossible is not a fact. It is an opinion. Impossible is not a declaration. It's a dare. So I'm here to dare you, DSA. I'm here to dare you to center the most marginalized people. I dare you, DSA, to see solidarity as a verb, solidarity as a form of action. I dare you, DSA, to be not about you, DSA, but about the most broken and marginalized and hurt people in this country who are counting on you to get your shit straight.
Why do they
so we
all
can get our
speak in
country
like
straight.
slam poetry voice?
I want to dare you, DSA, to remember that you live in a country where there is fascism, full-blown fascism is happening around us. And if you don't see that, then we got problems.
Oh my
You are
God.
living in a country where we are literally stripping babies from the mothers of the arms of their mothers. We're literally caging children that have no adequate food or medical care. We literally are stripping children where we don't even know if they're ever going to be reunited with their families. You live in a country that has stripped 23 million people of health care. And every day somebody's trying some way to strip the rest of us with health care and want to ban or block others from even ever trying to get health care. You live in a country who is literally every day trying to find different ways to strip LGBTQ people of their rights. A country that every day, and maybe there are days where you may not hear about it because it's not on Twitter, where unarmed Black people are being killed on the streets of their communities all across the country at the hands of police and gun violence. A country where we are literally weakening union power. A country where there's always more threats of war every single day. We are not just living in really dark times, and people say that, and it's true, but we've been here before many times before. And the question that DSA needs to ask themselves is, who do you want to be? What are you trying to do in this moment? What kind of story do you want to be told about DSA 40 years from now? We have to win. This is not a we hope to win, or we're going to try everything that we can to win. We have no choice but to win. There are people in our country who are sitting at home right now figuring out whether or not they can feed their children dinner. There are homeless people right now on the streets of our communities, some of whom are veterans, who are trying to find the next place to sleep tonight. There's somebody right now who literally just put up a GoFundMe because they need to have a life-saving surgery. We have undocumented people who every day got to change their routes and how they go to work so that they're not stopped by Gestapo ICE. There are children who are sitting in schools who are being put in other rooms or being punished with detention because they couldn't pay their lunch debt. We have millions of people in our country in utter poverty, and we should be ashamed of ourselves. DSA, if you are here because DSA is supposed to be making you feel comfortable, you're in the wrong place. If you are here to tell DSA you need to do these 17,899 things to make me feel good, this is not the organization for you. If you are in DSA to take one collective liberation movement to divide it up into things that make you feel comfortable, this is not the organization for you. There are people who are counting on us. Literally. There are people whose lives depend on us building a political movement that is centered on values and principles and the most broken and marginalized people in this country. So freedom in this country is not free. It's just not. So if you think that you're going to talk to me about capitalism and we got to smash the patriarchy and capital, I get that. Got to do parallel tracks because you live in a capitalist nation right now. I'm sorry to break it to you.
You can leave.
And
you
in
can go
order
live
for us
somewhere
to build
else.
a
You don't have to stay
sustainable
here.
Movement that is worthy to the people we are fighting for, we got to get our finances together. We need money to build this movement, right? Some of you may be like, well, I have a lot of time on my hands. I can come and volunteer. Not everybody has that time. We need to have organizers, like Cecily said. We need to be able to make sure that we could cover and show solidarity and help uplift and build the capacity of movements all over this country. And DSA has that power, has the resources and the capabilities to do that, and we need to do that. So I say to all of you that while you're all trying to build the revolution, while you're all trying to smash patriarchy and end capitalism, which is probably something we may all agree on here, in the meantime, there are really hurt, broken people that know that that's not happening, at least not by next year. So that means in this time, DSA people will have to realize that we got to alleviate harm on the people who are being the most harmed in this country. So don't be all about you and I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't feel. It's not about you. It really is not about you. Tonight, when you're voting tonight on NPC members, you vote for the most qualified people, the most compassionate people, the most passionate people, the people with the track records in their DSA chapters who have done bold and transformative organizer. It's not about who you like and who's in another faction and who's in another caucus. It's not about that. And if that's what you're going to do tonight, then you're proving to marginalized people all over this country that you don't give a damn about the most broken people. You only care about yourself and what you believe and what you think. So I came here to tell
it's your
DSA
vote.
This. I'm counting on you. I come here because I am in solidarity with you. I am a card-carrying DSA member because I see the potential of DSA. DSA has a lot of potential. People are afraid of DSA. I know they are in New York for sure. I don't know about it everywhere else. So I want to wrap up by saying this. We live in a country that has done horrible and atrocious things to people. And if we keep internally fighting amongst ourselves, we are giving the opposition the pathway to create more atrocities against our people, more than they already are. Unity is not uniformity. We all come from different places. We have all been brought up different ways. Some of us are immigrants. Some of us are children of immigrants. Some of you are from the South. Some of you are from the North, from the East Coast and the West Coast. We're all not going to agree on everything. Guess what? That's normal, people. That's just normal, just so you know. But so unity is not uniformity. So you cannot have an organization who's going to cater to every single human being that is in that organization, and everybody wants to see. That's not how this works. This is a collective organization where we pick principles and values that bring us together. And if you care about other things outside of those 10, 15 things, well, then go organize around those things. You don't need, there's no way that an organization could be everything to everybody. So I'm not going to lie to you. I've been a little frustrated watching this whole thing. Procedural stuff. There's 5 hours of against this and against that and for this and for that. There are people that are dying in our country. There are people
They're
who
literally
don't have healthcare.
dying.
There are people
They're
at the
literally
borders right
dying.
now who are without adequate food, being treated less than animals in our country. And we don't have time for this. Get it together, DSA. Give your resources to DSA. This is all we got, my folks. We are all we got. This is it, people. There's no alternative to what we're trying to do here. So let's find ways to build deep, transformative relationships. Put your money where your mouth is. Support DSA. Just like the right organizes their money, the left needs to start organizing our money. I'm a monthly donor to DSA, and I'm very proud of that. And I don't do that for many organizations. And I also donated here today. And if you already gave to DSA, give again. You know you have an extra $20 laying around. You may have an extra $50 laying around. You know what? Your investment is solidarity. When you give to something meaningful that's going to help the most broken and marginalized people, that builds a political revolution that centers all of us, where we all feel seen and heard, that, my friends, is solidarity. So let's get it together. Let's win. We got no choice. I'm counting on you, DSA. We got to win. Y'all in? We're going to win? Solidarity.
All right, guys. Well, that seems to have rounded things out for this particular happy hour. It is so funny. It is so funny that they love money so much, but they hate capitalism. I mean, she didn't really have a whole lot of content in that speech, did she? She was just like, grievance, 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 grievance. You're not doing good enough. You're not doing good enough. All this stuff. I don't know. This whole stream has made me feel a little bit better about the future of humanity, I have to say. But guys, thank you for hanging out. If you made it to the end, you are a trooper. I just want to remind everyone that tomorrow in my locals at 3 p.m., we do have our Bitchcraft, Craft and Bitch community. We're going to be congregating at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you, Renata, for the super sticker. I really appreciate that. And guys, just remember, like, The reason that we watched it, Linda Sarsour was not the star of that show. The crazy anthem, and by the way, 68% of you did feel triggered by that workers' anthem. That wasn't the star of the show. The star of the show was the teacher who admitted everything they're doing and did it 2 years ago, and no one has been talking about it. That was the star of the show. So I can't wait to see some of you tomorrow in Bitchcraft. We're going to have a great old time. If you don't do a craft, you can still come. If you just want to hang out and talk, you can still come. Everyone is welcome. But if you do have a craft or a chore, people do all sorts of stuff at Bitchcraft. I'm going to be knitting, obviously, because knitting is the most superior of all crafts. But people will be drawing, they'll be doing crochet, they'll be sewing, they'll be quilting, they'll be folding laundry. There's lots of stuff that you can do tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys then. And in order to take advantage of that, you do need to be a supporter in my locals community. You can become a supporter for $5 a month. You can become a supporter for $50 a year, which gives you 2 months for free. You can also make a one-time gift. Head over to kb.locals.com/support to sign up, and I will see many of you tomorrow. Again, I'm sorry I'm a little bit under the weather. Hopefully I'll be feeling better tomorrow. If I'm not, I'm still going to show up for Bitchcraft. It's going to be fine. We're doing it virtually, so no one can catch whatever cold my husband has given me. But that's why I was a little bit, not speaking up as much today, because I don't feel good. I'm sorry. But I'll look forward to seeing some of you tomorrow. Thank you for spending some time with me. The next live stream I'm going to do is going to be 5 p.m. on Sunday on my main channel, Carlin Borisenko. And we're going to do F'd Up News of the Week on Sunday at 5 p.m. I'll look forward to seeing many of you then. Have a great rest of your night, guys. Great weekend, and we'll see you soon.